With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Let's go back to February 17th, 2019. On an unassuming Sunday night, the Precision Racing League ran what would be its last race to date in the NASCAR Xfinity cars. It was 85 laps at Daytona, and some guy you may have heard of named Austin Hunter came out on top at the end of it all. Now, on December 21st, 2022, nearly 4 years later, the second tier of NASCAR competition is finally represented in PRL competition once more. The stars of the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series Truck Series from the previous season, I'm already getting confused, like Holly, Acosta, Regan, Evans, Hunter, and more. They're all going to take on the Xfinity cars this season instead of the trucks, but for all you trucking fans, do not fret. The PRL NASCAR Truck Series is still indeed alive, and it'll be an opener of sorts on Wednesday nights for us, with some familiar names and a lot of new names trying to make their name in PRL NASCAR competition. Welcome to the opening round of 2023 Season 1 for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, live from the virtual Michigan International Speedway circa 2009, and the opening round for the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series coming up a little bit later tonight from the virtual Darlington Raceway. Hi everybody, my name is two-time PRL Ferrari Challenge podium sitter Joey Tebben. With me in the booth is future PRL IRO4 competitor Terry Radford, and behind the scenes is our director, PRL basically every broadcast driver Hugo Luis. Terry, the trucks are back, they're still alive, and they're going to open the show tonight with, I say, slightly bumpier Michigan than we normally see.
I don't know. You need somebody like to call you to go write their whatever, like, you know, just go write their opening monologues. Maybe, you know, late night TV would be a little funnier. But yeah, it's fun. Back for the trucks, and if I could have got Jason Rockefeller, I'd have been out here in these trucks too. But I, you know, got swept off my feet told to come back up here. So yeah, we'll race tomorrow, but this is going to be fun. A lot of new faces and a lot of different places, but trucks started off for us, and we'll get a good doubleheader. We don't normally get to see doubleheader, but what a schedule this is.
Yeah, that's the main thing to talk about over the course of this season. When these two schedules were released, actually, the Truck Series schedule was a little bit too crazy, actually. It previously had Eldora and the LA Coliseum on it, and old Charles Sumner, the organizer for this series, said, you know what, that might be a little bit too much, so we're going to tone things down. We're going to go to Talladega and Las Vegas instead of Eldora and the Coliseum. You know, it was a debatable decision, but I think that'll probably lead to some better racing and slightly less carnage than we would have had at the One Dirt Race and at the LA Coliseum. But we're at no shortage of craziness this season. Next week, we go to our road course of the season, which will be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park at Mosport. Then we do get some short track action at Hickory. Then, of course, the difficulty of Darlington, Charlotte Motor Speedway, the old classic. Then we go to Rockingham, another old classic that is actually being sort of revived in real life. We saw the repave there a couple weeks ago. We return to Daytona for a second plate race of the season. And then just like we did last season, Terry, we end it all at Auto Club Speedway. I think the main thing this calendar is going to do, it's going to open up the field for quite a few drivers to do something surprising.
I mean, there's so many different types of racing. You're going to go from 2 miles here in Michigan to a twisty turn at one of my favorite road courses, Canadian Motorsports Park. Big fan of the Canadian National Anthem myself. I can't wait for Rockingham. The Rock is back, and it preludes to the opening week, technically, of the eNASCAR world of thing for these trucks. So, hell yeah, give me 8 weeks of good race, and then we'll go back to the cookie cutters.
And if you haven't seen the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule, well, we'll get into that in about an hour's time. That gets even crazier. Of course, we have no championship standings to show you, no team standings because the championship has not yet started. And our defending champion, Abner Acosta, he'll be in the Xfinity Series this season. So the NASCAR Truck Series in the PRL is a completely wide open slate this season, and none of it will be possible without all the people who make every Precision Racing League broadcast possible. Of course, first and foremost, the VCO, the virtual competition organization. They help us out here at RaceSpotTV and help make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season and every season. This coverage is also brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers like Nicholas Dubois, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. This coverage is also brought to you by Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver, like Terry. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceboxSimRacing.com and also get a 5% discount, also using the Precision5 coupon code. Then from Racebox, we slide over to the Race Lab. Race Lab apps helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. This coverage is brought to you by The Butt Kicker as well. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with The Butt Kicker. And new for this season, it is our friends at Mecha Sim Hardware. Mecha Sim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for a high-end pedal set, handbrake, or sequential shifter, visit Mecha Sim Hardware's eShop right now and get you up to speed. I guess you can check their website. And this coverage is last but not least brought to you by NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Well, of course you are. Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. Well, for the first time this season, it is indeed time to start tracking the driver's performance. We got about 3 minutes left to go on the clock in qualifying, and it's a familiar name from last season, or at least it was. It was Steve Loving at the top of the board, but now it's a new name to the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, Aren Gumushtal, who has put it on pole over old Steve Loving.
Oh, gosh. And here I was thinking that I was going to be able to roll in here to the PRL for the Truck Series, and none of these names would be hard. And then the 21 truck just had to come out of nowhere and make me feel even dumber than I already feel. This one seems pretty easy. Colton Easterday. That's pretty good. And they're in 22nd. Needs to find a little bit more speed out of that 9 machine. How do you pronounce the pole sitter's name again? Because I'm going to butcher this. Gamushtal?
Gamushtal. I believe that is how you say it. I did use my trusty tool. I went over to Google Translate. I loaded up Turkish and Gamushtal. Aren Gamushtal.
Can I just call him Gabriel, since that's his first name?
I would go with Aren. I think that's the name he signed up with. But Ricky Barbary, that's another name that I think you'll be pretty good with, Terry. Reese Bogue as well has just gone to P2. That's another name we're going to talk a lot about. Reese Bogue, sort of coming from the school of Richard Regan Jr., who was so successful in this series and in the Cup Series in so many of the previous seasons. Reese Bogue has finally jumped off the spotter stand, and he's finally racing here in the PRL. He'll be here with us in the Truck Series. Patrick Cowgill goes up to P3, another familiar name, and Ricky Barbary puts it P7. In the top 10, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names that are familiar to us from previous seasons and 4 new names. So I'd say it's a pretty even spread so far.
I'm going to hit a topic before we finish qualifying. I'm circling the 31 this season. Patrick Cowgill. I'm not calling him out or nothing. We started last season, and we both said that was the guy that we were looking at that was going to go compete with Abner Acosta and Bradley Holly and Richard Regan Jr. Just in this limited runs that he had, we thought that was the guy that was going to come in and do it. Well, I'm circling his ass this year for this season to close this out. There's a lot of new faces. He's the most familiar, in my opinion, with the PRL, other than maybe Steve Loving, Dalton Guy, or CM Pennington. But if I'm looking at somebody that has an opportunity to capitalize on it, it's you, Patrick. If you're watching this race and you got something to talk about, I want to see him win. I want him to win. That's all I want him to do. I just want him to win in the Truck Series and make a statement that he's here to compete for this championship.
I'd say Cowgill definitely is the top name returning from the previous seasons. Easily the most experienced driver in the PRL in this field, I think, unless I am forgetting somebody. But there's the Steve Loving, there's CM Pennington, Geyer, Kevin McGarvey, I don't believe is here tonight, but he has quite a bit of PRL experience. It is an interesting combination of youth, I guess you could say, iRacing-wise, and experience, but it is a newbie to the PRL. Aren Gamushtal has put it on pole in his first PRL NASCAR Truck Series race. He'll start alongside Reese Bogue for Regan Bogue Motorsports, who is also in his first PRL NASCAR Truck Series race. Patrick Cowgill for Whataback will start third alongside CM Punk Pennington, and Dalton Geyer, much higher than where he normally was. He's P5 alongside William Hartman, who is not a dentist. Steve Loving will start P7 alongside Ricky Bobry, and Kyle Strykars joins Whataback. He'll start P9 alongside Jacob Emery. Nicholas Starling, who is actually at the top of the practice timesheet, starts P11 alongside Zach Panzarella. P13, potentially lucky or unlucky, goes to Garrett Austin for the Gold Octopus Motorsports, another good team name joining us this season. He starts alongside Robert Goff. Alan Dice II, a Pittsburgh sports fan, starts alongside Dallas Sullivan. Chris Justice, not sure if he's related to Tyler Justice, starts alongside Keith Miller on the 9th row. P19, James Dewar, a returning name, starts alongside a new name in Matt Karakoff. Jeremy Bailey starts alongside Dylan Schmidt, and then Richard Pruitt and a last-minute addition to Regan Bogue Motorsports, Colton Easterday, rounds out the top 24. Adam Smith, not the 16th century economist, starts P25. Brian Hoskins is back. He'll start P26. Thomas Brendel, Cole Larson, and Oliver Goff round out the 29 drivers that set lap times. Our old bad luck buddy Tom Amasi has elected not to set a qualifying lap time tonight. He'll start 30th ahead of the final driver on the grid, Tillman Hewer. 31 trucks here at Michigan. It's not a plate track. It's not a super speedway. But we know that when we come to Michigan, especially when we come to this legacy scan of Michigan, things are going to be pretty close together for the entirety of this race.
I'm all for it, 1,000%. I mean, this is like what we saw at Auto Club, or it should be. One or two things are going to happen. You can take this however which way you want. It's like flipping a coin. You're either going to get a demolition derby or you're going to get a really good race. We're going to determine how this season's going to go, because you think what lies ahead next week and then the week after. Canadian Tire is not one of those, one of those tracks you could just sleepwalk into and hope that you can overrun the corners, and neither is Hickory. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of precision. All right, we're going to find out in about 10 laps real quick what we're looking forward to, a prelude to what the Xfinity cars are going to do.
The other big change for this season, this race will not run to a specified amount of laps. This is a 40-minute timed race. There's still yellows, there's still cautions, but there's 40 minutes of racing to do. There's no green-white checkers. There's none of that. We finish the race once the clock ends at 40 minutes. So it's an interesting dynamic. If we do get a lot of yellows, do you have to do some new fuel-saving strategies? Do you have to think about your entire strategy differently? It is a whole new playing field for all of these drivers, and it's a whole new playing field especially for the new drivers to this series. But the iRacing Sedan Pace Car is going to round through Michigan's turns 3 and 4, and for the first time in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series in 2023, it may not be the year 2023 yet, but it is in the PRL. Season 1 is ready to get going. It's Aren Gamushtal and Reese Bogue on the front row. The PRL NASCAR Truck Series is green in 2023. miles in the books already. RaceSpotTV had a pretty good jump off the line there, but it is Eren Gamushdal who had the better lap of the two of them all throughout. It looks like the top 10 starting to get spread out a little bit. I believe that's Steve Loving up trying to make the high side work, and that may actually be William Hartman. No, it's Garrett Austin, even deeper in the field, going around the outside there of Alan Dice. Garrett Austin's making moves early.
Yeah, and this is one of those racetracks. Remember when I yelled at Danny Cervantes about picking a line and sticking to that line? I'm going to do the same thing here. For the drivers, if people are out there watching and you're spotting for one of them, if you pick a line that's actually going to make some moves, it's going to make a pass happen here this afternoon at Michigan, stick to that line. Stick to the line, run up there to that outside, make the moves happen. Diamond off these corners, make moves happen. As you see Steve Loving out there on the outside, he's making moves happen. He's up to second. He's trying to make this run on Gamushdal. I think I said his name right there, down the back straightaway. He's going to get the push there from RaceSpotTV on the back. And there's Patrick Cowgill. If you see somebody moving that outside, Joey, you got to go with them.
Here comes Steve Loving to the outside, trying to take the lead from Gamushdal for the first time in this race. Steve Loving's another one of those drivers who's always on the precipice of a good result, especially in the last season. He was really finding his feet. He was finding quite a bit of improvement. He found quite a bit of speed. And now that he finds himself on sort of a leveled playing field, a lot of his competition, I don't say this to be mean, has been taken out from the top of him. And now he does find a way to fight for the lead in this series, get his feet wet even more, get even stronger on the ovals. And he is currently leading his first race, I think, on merit in the PRL.
Well, and I circled Patrick Cowgill, but Steve Loving as well. You think about returning guys coming over from last season that have to make a big splash, and they don't have to. Oh, no!
Trouble in the background. Kyle Strikars is around in the middle of the field, and they are piling in. There is a pile up in turn one there. Looked like Sullivan made it through, but basically everybody behind P13 has gotten somewhat involved in that. Of course, our bad luck buddy Tom Amasi, I think, got involved in that because, of course, Tom Amasi got caught up in somebody else's incident that he had nothing to do with. Matt Karakoff is involved as well. I think Tillman Hewer may have made it through. James Dewar was involved. Chris Justice, Cole Larson, Keith Miller. A lot of new names. They're out early.
Well, hopefully that didn't answer my question that I posed at the opening part of this. I don't want to see this go into a race like this. Normally when you throw time, and Gearhead out there actually asks the question of why we're racing the time in a NASCAR-like race. There's a reason for it. There's a race right behind this that's going to happen. And you see the 44 just overdrove the corner, got in the back bumper, and that one little checkup is going to change the whole dynamic of this race. And then everybody else just went in there like spring chickens.
Quite a few spring chickens have, I think, been roasted there in turn one there. Tom Amasi's out for good. He's already out of the truck getting repairs. And like I said, Strikars, Chris Justice, James Dewar, Matt Karakoff, all on pit road getting heavy repairs. A few drivers who I don't think have heavy damage are actually maybe thinking about strategy right about now with 35 minutes left to go in this race. I saw Robert Goff come down, Richard Pruitt, Dylan Schmidt, and Adam Smith. They're all down pit road right now. I didn't see if they have any damage. I mean, that's the 92 with Dylan Schmidt. That looks like a pretty clean truck to me for the most part. Actually, no, it doesn't, as we do see the left front quarter panel there. There's a little bit of damage. Maybe there's some damage on the side of Cole Larson's truck as well, but I think this might be a deliberate strategy move for a lot of these guys who are deeper in the field.
I mean, you're going to have roughly 33-ish minutes when we take this green flag again to wave here. If you didn't feel like you had anything in those first 5 laps, because you could feel a lot here in just two laps is all it takes to really fill out the truck, to know if you have speed, if you're going to be able to make passes up. You also wear the tires pretty easily here. This is one of the tracks that you're going to burn. You're going to burn quite a bit here. You're going to start to burn that right front, and then as the truck starts to loosen up, that right rear is going to go with it. You're really going to start to slide it off the exit of the corner. You have to make this truck loose to be fast here, especially if you want to rip that wall. So why not come in here and take an opportunity to come down pit road, get 4 fresh tires, have a small little bit of an advantage to maybe get a net gain of where you were at before, and then you should be just fine, because I expect with the pack style racing, Joey, we're going to have quite a bit of cautions.
I do also need to give a shout out to a driver who I kind of overlooked in the intro to the race. William Hartman currently runs P7, having a good race by his own merit here. He's not a new driver to this series. He might be a new name for those of you who joined us in the past couple of seasons who haven't been watching the PRL NASCAR Truck Series from the very beginning. But go back to 2019, go back to 2018. William Hartman is the only driver in this field who has actually won the PRL before. He has 2 PRL NASCAR Truck Series wins, and that's definitely an accomplishment to hold over the rest of the field.
Well, I know next week, or 2 weeks from today, when we come back on in the new year, there's not going to be just one PRL winner in Joey Tebbin up here. There's going to be 2 announcers in Race Spot that are PRL winners, because I'm going to win Long Beach tomorrow.
I'll let the driving speak for itself.
I'm running some pretty darn good times there at the beach of the Long. Let's just say that right there.
Terry is indeed correct. Tomorrow night, we do finally kick off the PRL open wheel season with the IRO4s and the F3 cars. A lot of very, very exciting things happening in that series as well, with Hamilton Akabuizi moving up into the F3s. Robert Ridgway's returning to the F3 cars for Atomic Racing. Some guy named Terry Radford will be joining the IRO4 field. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff on Thursday nights as well, but we got a lot of exciting stuff on Wednesday night to get through as well. There's still 32 and a half minutes left to go on the clock here. Steve Loving is going to lead us to the restart here. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off for the second time this season, and Steve Loving takes control of the restart over Patrick Cowgill. We're green again at Michigan.
What a restart. Patrick Cowgill got caught with his pants down right there on that one. The 4, even Reese Bogue, he jumped ship like a pirate, went down to the bottom. He's going to push, I've already forgot how to pronounce his name. Just forgive me, the 21. You said Aaron? I think it's Aaron. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, Gamustal. He's going to yell at me at some point this season when he watches these shows anyhow. But now you see that side-by-side battle. Cowgill's trying to make this run, and as our producer's a smart aleck, he puts the name up there for me to try to, enunciate it.
Reese Bogue and Nick Starling side by side behind them. It almost looks like a pace lap right about now, because we are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, but we're all 2 by 2 behind Steve Loving, who didn't have an excellent restart there. But look at the background of the restart. There must have been a huge checkup, and they're about 4 wide in the back of the field. This isn't actually the restart. This is live pictures with James Dewar, the 92. These are a lot of the damaged cars that pitted. Oh, and there's rear contact from the Cheetos entry to the number 24, and they're still wrecking. That was basically guaranteed to happen the second that incident started. The yellow is back out on the speedway, and that was just, I think, some clumsy stuff with some drivers that were on fresh tires and some drivers who weren't. Brendel was in the number 22 there. That was the number 24 of Richard Pruitt, who ended up getting damage. Some clumsy stuff at the back of the field.
What do you want me to say? I feel like we're intentionally trying to get under my skin with just, what are you doing? One, you're not clear. The 24, you're not clear. If you're going to sail it in the corner, stick it. Just stick it. Make it sit there. If you have to burp the throttle, oh my gosh, you have to burp the throttle. Why are you going on the apron? Like, why is the apron a thing? This track was not meant to go on the apron. This isn't NASCAR Heat. This isn't Evolution. This isn't Ignition. This isn't Xbox. This is real dynamics of these things.
I do need to clarify. I don't believe that was the 24. I don't actually know who that was. We need to identify
the one who, not the one that hit the apron.
The white truck down to the apron. Yeah, but
the one who hit the apron. We'll go past that one. Whether I don't know the number to that one, but the 24 cut completely up. Sailed it into the corner. Didn't make the corner. Had no intentions of making the corner. Had the intentions of backing this field completely to a stop behind him. It was like, well, all cost, we're going to sail it in the corner to make that thing happen, just to park the bus in front of the rest of the field and then think that nothing's going to come about it. But I appreciate whoever that was that popped him, the Cheetos car. If you do something ignorant, you get, ignorant prizes, and that's what you get. You make a move like that, you have to think that your race is over, and now you start your season in the PRL Truck Series, 1 foot in the dirt and 1 foot on the pavement. And you're going to continue your season in the dirt, or you're going to walk the pavement. You would pick which one you want to do.
Yeah, there are quite a few drivers in the dirt now with some damage at the depths of the field, but there's also a couple more drivers going for those deliberate strategy moves with no damage. CM Punk Pennington, no damage on that truck, maybe a little bit of front-end damage. I think he did get into somebody a little bit earlier, but that was a scheduled pit stop, I guess, or an unscheduled pit stop that was deliberate at the very least. Dallas Sullivan is in, Cole Larson was in, Colton Easterday was in, Keith Miller was in as well. Some of those drivers had damage, some of them didn't, but the clock is ticking down. I don't know. I think a pit stop would be required if we went 40 minutes completely green. I think it would be long enough.
They don't need a pit stop now. I mean, they're only on 11 laps. And theoretically, if ATBO is correct with me, which it normally is, because, it's much better than that SDK stuff, 58 laps is what we would have looked. If we would have went green to this end, we would have hit 58. We ain't hitting 58, son. They ain't not even remotely close. We'll be lucky at this pace to possibly pull 40. Maybe. We're cutting lap after lap after lap off because these pace laps are an eternity. It's a minute 43 around here for a pace lap, and that's 3 times that we're turning. So hopefully people are looking at the clock, because I tell you who's loving it. Steve Loving. There's your play on words.
Loving's always loving it, but I think a minute 40, that's longer than the lap time we're going to be running at the road course at Most Sport in a couple weeks. So this is...
Oh, yeah.
It certainly drags when you're riding in the truck here at a pace lap at this place or at Pocono or wherever. Talladega, that's pretty bad. But I guess Talladega it could be worse because you do get the shortened cautions. But this place, you're just hanging out there. You're thinking about Cheez-Its and whatever, just trying to kill the time.
Are we starting another Cheez-Its thing? Because today I'm on cough drops. My voice is, I keep having to mute the mic to try not to cough in your ear and blow your eardrums out. But Hall's Breezers. It soothes every day's throat irritation.
Menthol.
Yes. Well, no. Terry doesn't smoke no more. So I have the non-menthol. I have the creamy strawberry flavor.
Oh, those are pretty great.
I know they taste like a lifesaver, except they soothe your throat.
Of course.
And you don't
throat soothing under caution there. That was helpful for me, but just like Matty Healy, Terry Radford does not like menthols. I'm ready to go green once again. Steve Loving, is he ready to go green again? Well, too bad. The iRacing sedan pace car has pulled off. Steve Loving gets another excellent restart over Gabriel Gamushta on the outside. Patrick Cowgill's trying to sneak forward in the draft to Steve Loving. Reese Bogue is going to think about sending it 3 wide to turn 1, but we are racing once more at Michigan.
I don't know what the outside's, if the outside's just sleeping on restarts, or if they're not getting the traction or the grip up there that they necessarily need to get this rolling. But look at the new player up here at the front, Nicholas Starling. Is that how you say it? It's Nicholas Starling having a good run up to the front. As here comes Gamustal down to the bottom. 94 goes to the 4th. He gets past Reese Bogue and Ricky. Is that Barbary? Caution's out again. We ain't gonna
Caution is out again. Not for Ricky Barbary. It is somebody at the depths of the field. We'll get the Hugo Luis Panopticon out here. Looks like it was coming down the back straight, and that's the 22. That is the 22 getting turned there. The 19 involves CM Pennington, got a bite out of it as well. But Thomas Brendel, I think, did just get turned there. Cole Larson as well, an innocent bystander. Let's see what happened to Thomas Brendel in that 22 on the high side. That's the number 9 of Colton Easterday. He just drives into him. I'm just trying to think about what I can say about crunchy Cheetos. I don't actually know if that is a Cheetos truck on the number 22, but it just makes me think of Cheetos.
I think it is. Looks like Cheetos. Honestly, I don't know if the 9 hit him. I ain't too sure if the 22 came down a little bit. I mean, I'd have to see another angle, and I'm not going to make him dig that back up because
we got a long caution here. We might as well dig it up.
We'll feel something totally different, because then I'm going to get on a rant. Somebody's going to get mad. Somebody's going to comment in the chat. I'm going to say something in response to that chat, and then RaceSpot's going to talk to me after the race and say, you can't say that. And I'm going to ask why, and then I'll have to explain it to Hugo on why I said what I said. And then, it's a vicious cycle of things that I don't want to do. But I am honestly confused, and I'll tell you why I'm confused. This is the second caution from that depth of the field, and it's been the same players in these cautions that are just continuously racking them up. And I know that the Precision Racing League is doing something about that. I heard that they're taking points away for every time you cause a caution. They're taking points away. They're just deducting them, and that's smart. And this is why this league's been around for the test of time, and it probably will be for a long, long time, because they follow rules. Other leagues don't like them.
I can understand sort of the growing pains, though. It's always, a little bit of a stunted start to the season when you do get a little bit of a caution fest. But this is the newest series it's not the newest series in the PRL, but it has a high percentage of new drivers, because these guys, there's a lot of experienced oval talent in this field, I will say that. But it is, a lot of drivers trying to get their feet wet in the oval side for the first time. A lot of drivers in the PRL for the first time, so I'll give them some slack this week, I think. Maybe not if we do get 3 more cautions, but, in the latter stages of the season, as we do continue to move on, I don't think we'll be seeing the same level of growing pains that we see in race 1 of the season.
It's Michigan, Joey. They started the PRL Truck Series on the second easiest track to race on. This is the second. You take a guess where the first one's at?
Talladega and Daytona?
Yeah, they're tied, neck and neck, 1.
We'll be going to both of those later this season, so that'll be good for them.
This is the easiest place to run. You put it in the corner, you time it from the top of the wall down to that yellow line, and then you let it float its little carcass, this little chassis, all the way up to the wall, and it sits on that wall, and then you roll the dice, like Allen dice, with loaded dice racing right here. Loaded dice is actually illegal, by the way, in Las Vegas. It's a 10-year prison sentence if you get caught with loaded dice.
Well, just like our camera, you'd be behind bars.
That's right. You'd be behind bars. You do loaded dice in Vegas, you're going to prison. And then, you don't pass go or collect $200 like Monopoly.
Allen Dice is, of course, representing the western side of Pennsylvania as somebody who represents both sides of Pennsylvania. I'm here on the eastern side right now. We're reporting live from the basement studio again, but Allen Dice over on the western side of Pennsylvania in the Pittsburgh area. Always gotta support sim racing coming from that area, because there's not a huge racing scene on that side of the state. There should be more racing esports, especially on that side of the state. But maybe Allen Dice can help us to bring that up. Maybe we can roll the dice with him. But Steve Loving is once again ready to lead us to a restart in the Ryobi truck. We are green once more at Michigan. It's about half of the race to go, 21 more minutes, and hopefully we can go a little bit longer than we did in the previous stint. Again, Reese Bogue, a phenomenal jump from the line. 3 wide on Cowgill and Gamushtal. He's already up to second. He's already to the inside of Steve Loving into 2.
I think they're going to look at that restart, because he did back up a little bit. I'm not calling him out on it, but I'm watching the replay on the actual feed for the broadcast, and that was a mighty good restart he got there, because he was much faster than the 2 in front of him before they even got to the start-finish line. He had a pretty decent run there. But if he didn't, it's just me looking at the broadcast feed. The PRL admins will take a look at it, I'm sure, and see if maybe he did jump it or not. I ain't saying he did, but it looked pretty good. But he goes to the outside here on Steve Loving. It's the first challenge we've seen for the 27 since he took that race lead. But it's to the outside for the 4. He's going to make it, but it's 2 by 2 by 2, and slight contact back there.
Whoa. Very, very close between Steve Loving and Reese Bogue there for the lead. Bogue trying to make the outside work. Loving still loving the inside. Into turn 3. Bogue still not quite clear of Loving, but he does definitely seem to have the momentum as Gamushtal fades a little bit up, stays out of the side of Steve Loving. Bogue certainly has the pace right now in the short run, but he can't clear Steve Loving.
Yeah, that outside just brings so much momentum, and it allows you to carry good speed off the exit. And for the 27, he's having to check up. He's having to lift a little bit. He's burping the throttle, and the 4's not helping him. You know, he's not picking his claws up. Where the 4's able to get back on the exit, get back on the throttle right there to shoot the exit there. Oh no, the 4. RaceSpoke woke up and shows violence.
He's finally clear. He was just barely clear of Steve Loving. He saw, you know, I got an inch clear of Steve Loving's bumper, so I'm gonna do a Vogue, and I'm gonna go down to the bottom of the track. RaceSpoke is indeed clear. Now he's trying to Dale Jr. the field, going back and forth. Do I give a draft to Loving? Do I give a draft to Gamushtal? I don't know, but none of them are getting by me.
Well, that works until it doesn't, right? That works until somebody gets sick and tired of it, and they don't, you know, give you that extra room to come up and pull that move like he did on Steve there. Steve got a little too high. There's going to be a run to the back straightaway to his inside. It's going to be 3 wide with Patrick Cowgill and the 21 of Gamushtal.
4 wide with Ricky Barbary.
Oh, he goes around.
4 wide did not work at all. There goes Patrick Cowgill. Tillman Hewer. I think Starling made it through, but Patrick Cowgill took the full brunt of that. Just Ricky Barbary peeking to the inside, 4 wide. Gamushtal and Cowgill came together. 4 into 3 does not tend to work.
Yeah, I always heard that 4 is bigger than 3, so it doesn't do its thing. But the 21 honestly just he's kind of spooked him, but he overcorrected to that. You didn't have to make that move. Like, he didn't have to turn up. He had so much room to get in that corner. I mean, he just straight lined it in. It's like he saw that there was a truck below him and just completely forgot where the corner set. That was a little wild, but you know, here we sit.
That is 2 big competitors kind of eliminated here. In Patrick Cowgill, who I don't think he'll be getting back out on track. There is heavy damage to that truck, and Starling as well, who took the secondary brunt there. Both of them, they're done. They're not coming back out. But for our leader, RaceSpoke, for Ricky Barbary, Steve Loving, Gamushtal, they're electing to bring it down pit road here. 17 minutes to go. They don't need fuel, but I think all of them are realizing we haven't done a lot of green flag laps. We haven't worn these tires that much, but looks like just about everybody thinks it's worth it to take them.
You would be wild not to come in right now. Dalton Geyer, bless your soul. I love you, buddy. Yeah, it was Adam Smith. That was a bad move. And unless Dalton Geyer is trying to come in on that second lap around, maybe Adam Smith is too, hoping he was the first one. But that's a brave 365 up there. I don't think I agree with you, Sean, out there in the chat. The 21 didn't turn in. He started to and attempted to make that corner, and then just spooked him. I'll give a little slack there. That once you see a truck down there at the last little part of your turn in, because that's really where you start to lift. You start to get the truck to kick. You want it to rotate down to the bottom to get a very straight entry into this corner, or a good entry, not a straight entry, but then a good straight exit off. Like it's geometry trying to get in these corners and make sure you keep the truck balanced and playing it off the exit. But just didn't turn. I mean, I would love to see the end car of the 21 about 20 feet before that corner to kind of see where he was sitting. If maybe he was attempting to turn in and then just turned the other way real quick, that's something I would definitely enjoy to see.
I have a more important question, Terry, to Sean Campbell, and that's, what are you doing in the chat? Your race starts in like 30 minutes. You got to get out practicing Darlington, Sean. Go do some more driving. Get out of the chat. Leave the YouTube chat, or leave the YouTube tab open. Please still give us the viewership. But
here we go.
Go get back driving your car. We do ride on board here with Mr. Gabriel, or with Mr. Aren Gamushtal, rather. The third meat in the sandwich, or the second meat in the sandwich, I guess.
You see him here. Hold up. You see him here. He's turning there.
You won't see Ricky peek to the inside, but you'll see.
Right there. And then, quick. Very quick, though. He just got back on it to move. He used the throttle to turn the truck. He didn't turn that wheel. He used the throttle to gun it to move up. That was dumb. I'll say that one. That's not how you turn these things. Slight turn up to get down, but he still had a lane and a half to miss completely there.
Looks like Dalton Geyer and Adam Smith are going to stay out here, so that's going to be interesting at the head of the field. But again, we haven't run that many laps on these tires. Dalton Geyer's only been on these tires for 8 laps. That's only seven more laps than Reese Bogue has in third. Adam Smith was in the pits for heavy damage. He had a 2-minute 30-second stop, so I'm worried about him on the outside. I think Dalton Geyer's going to be okay, but if you're on the top behind Adam Smith, you may be in a little bit of trouble if you're Steve Loving or Hartman or Dylan Schmidt or anybody up there. But it's gonna be an interesting time here on the restart. We will restart this time around. About 13.5 minutes to go on the clock. Don't know how many laps that'll be. It's just a question of how many cautions end up coming out. But the iRacing Sedan pace car pulls out once more. Dalton Geyer is the highest he's ever been in the lead of this race. Adam Smith on the top line with heavy damage. The green flag is back out at Michigan. It's a great start for Dalton Geyer, but Adam Smith is just a rock on the high line.
That might have been a good start for Dalton Geyer, and that's because he had Reese Bogue all up in the back bumper of that 365 because he did not want to go in the restart box. He didn't want to go at the start-finish line. He did not want to go, period. He was trying to bottleneck this field up as much as possible to take the speed from him. Bogue pushed the issue going into the corner and made it stick. Here comes Barbary. He's up there as well. That 54 machine's running really good. Gonna look to the bottom. Good entry. Look at that, right on that white line. Give her some gas. Give her all the way up there. Hold on to her.
Just about clipped the apron there. Got away with it, though. He is to the back of Reese Bogue. A little bit of lost momentum there from that send into the corner, but he is in the draft. He will be able to save any of the momentum. And look at Dalton Geyer in third. Those tires may be 7 laps older. They may be aged, but Dalton Geyer is sticking with these 2 leaders.
Yeah, well, you got to think. Yes, he has 7 laps more on his tires. How many laps have we done, honestly? Out of that 10 laps that he's had, maybe 4. So 4 laps doesn't kill anything. They'll even themselves out. And he'll stay in this draft here if he can keep Alan Dice behind him. He stays in this draft between these 2, let him race a little bit. With 12 minutes to go, that's a really good strategy here for that 365. He's going to look for second here.
Got Alan Dice coming up behind him, though, in that bright yellow nose truck. Dice, Sullivan, Loving's coming back, Schmidt's coming back. Remember, Steve Loving started 4th on that restart. He just got very much held up by Adam Smith, who had damage on that restart. So Steve Loving's on recovery here. Dylan Schmidt on an alternate strategy is moving his way forward. But Ricky Barbary and Reese Bogue still at the head of the field. The 2 RBs on the same strategy, and Ricky Barbary's in the wall. He tried to get to the outside of Reese Bogue, I think, but unfortunately, the outside was just the wall.
Yeah. You know, you ever watch Days of Thunder?
I haven't, but that's not the right movie to reference with Ricky Barbary.
Well, no. I know we could do the Talladega Nights reference, but it's like it's just like Days of Thunder. You think about, they say, don't try to make the pass on the outside. Don't show your cards before the end. Don't show him you're going to that outside. Make him guess where you're going. Make him change his line to defend you. Don't go to defend him. When Barbary went up there and made that move to the outside, you basically just told the leader, I'm going to pass you on the outside, and there's nothing you're going to do to stop me. And Bogue said, okay, yeah, watch me. You took the air off the nose, and then boom, the 54 goes right into the wall.
Here comes the inside in turn 1. I think there's a little bit of a correction from Bogue there to kind of open the door for Ricky Barbary. Barbary's getting very, very aggressive here early on, and does Reese Bogue really want to fight with that? That's a question he's going to have to ask himself.
Well, they got Alan Dice right behind him, and then they got a lap truck. That's the 44. Is that our old buddy?
CM Punk Pennington.
It is our buddy. I thought he was thought he had Jerome. There we go. But yeah, I mean, they've got the 5 right behind them. They have an opportunity here to see who's got the faster truck. I think the 5 is faster. And actually, I don't think, I know. I'm looking at the timing. The 5 and the 46 are faster.
That would be kind of ironic. You know, Abner Acosta, he comes out here, he wins the 2022 playoffs in the trucks. He moves up to the Xfinity Series. And who's still the strongest driver on the tires? It's still the driver of the number 5 truck. It may not be Abner Acosta anymore, but it is a yellow number 5. And I think that might be exactly what Alan Dice is doing right now. He's just hanging back, staying out of the aggression, and just biding his time for a moment.
Well, I got 9 minutes to go at 42nd lap time. Yeah. I can see about 45 laps. We'll see here. But, I mean, no shock. I mean, that time RaceSpoT was faster. As we take a look here at Colton Easterday, or Esterday, however he wants us to pronounce it. I'm sure he'll tell us later. With the 9 center to the bottom, try to make these moves. And I'm starting to like these new vibes. I kind of wish we didn't have to learn a whole lot of new names. With 5 to the bottom of the 54, we'll see if he can make this pass. Where's RaceSpoT go? Where's his allegiance lie when it comes to this train of 4 here?
And Dallas Sullivan in P4, kind of the wild card here. He's been in the latter stages of the top 15, I think, over the course of this race, but slowly but surely he's marched his way forward. He's been marching his way through the wilderness. He's P4 right now. Dylan Schmidt behind in P5. Steve Loving as well still has a lot of unproven business in P6, but here comes Alan Dice for the moment for P2 again, to the inside of Ricky Barbary into turn 3. Is the inside the place he wants to be, though? Barbary, for all the sends he's been doing, he still manages to find momentum on the outside. And as Bogue fades up, Barbary's going to get the draft again, but Alan Dice is going to be clear of him into second.
He definitely rolled the dice to make that move, to go right down smack in the middle of them. Maybe Alan Dice got with his then ex-wife, and he was in his subconscious to want to know why his best friend was with his wife.
That's like a 4D Galaxy Brain chess reference. I don't think I'm on your level with that one, too.
Talladega Nights reference. See, when Ricky Bobby was passing Cal Naughton Jr., he said, "Hey, I got a question. Why would my friend, and I slept with his wife, say I'm sorry and apologize to me?" And it's like, maybe he's all up in my subconscious. I got a pretzel in my head.
I feel like I shouldn't admit this on a NASCAR broadcast, but I've never seen Talladega Nights. I still haven't done it. I feel like I know all the quotes. So at this point, if I see the movie,
what is your problem?
If I see the movie, I'm going to know everything already. I've already been told all of it line by line.
RaceSpot, fire him. Battle for the lead as we were getting close to fire Joey Tebbin.
Yep, Dice did back out of that one, though. He peeked to the inside, but Bogue said, there's still 6.5 minutes left in the race. I'm still going to be defending this lead here. Dice not able to get to the inside. Down the front straight again. Dice has been able to get the runs here. Sullivan as well has jumped Barbary, as has Dylan Schmidt. I think Ricky Barbary might have used up his stuff too early there. All those aggressive moves, they were great to see, but he is falling back.
Well, I mean, he probably had the pretzel there too. If I'm the 5, I'm being patient. I'm being as patient as possible. You have to at this moment. I'm sure the chat will agree. Ride. Just ride. And if you just sit there, you make him drive a little harder to defend you, to try to pull away. I mean, lap time wise, you're at what? Maybe a 10th faster at most. Don't force the issue. You don't have Dallas Sullivan behind you, really forcing the issue. He's not trying to make a move. He's trying to help you go up here and probably win this race, because Dallas Sullivan's chance to win this race lies with the 5. It lies wherever the 5 doesn't go, he goes. So if you screw the 5 over and pass him now, he's not going to help you later.
Whoa, Ricky Barbary was in the wall in the background there again. That was a huge hit. He got away with the first one a couple of laps ago. I don't think he's going to get away with that one. There's some concrete, I think, that's been broken out of that wall.
Well, there's the 55. Outside, respectfully moves out of the way. I think the 5 might have driven all the tires out of that thing.
For the 5, the 46, it's slowly thinning at the head of the field. We're slowly losing our protagonists here. I did hear again from Sean Campbell in the chat, who again is not practicing Darlington. He's just watching YouTube. He said he watched Talladega Nights when he was far too young to get most of the jokes. Sean Campbell's still only 18, though, so some may argue he is still too young to get the jokes.
Joey's back on his stuff again. I see you, Joey. I see you. I'm still young in my head. Look at this recovery. Richard Pruitt made, I would say, an arguably a dumb mistake. There he is, rebounded up to 14th. Looking, I believe he's looking for 13th here on Colton Easter Day or Esther Day, however he, corrects me and tells me I'm dumb. Yeah. 3
It's
wide.
just kind of become a race of attrition here because I'm looking at the trucks on the lead lap right now. It only goes down to P19, and quite a few behind this little battle right here are damaged. So basically, tonight it's been survive, stay out of trouble. You're basically guaranteed a pretty good result.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we talked about this to start the day, that we were going to see a good bit of caution. I thought we'd see a fair amount. As you see the battle right here going on with William Hartman and it's Dylan Schmidt going in for that 5th place position. But surprisingly enough, this last little green flag run, maybe you're right, Tevin. You might want to clip this at the part of where I said you were right. That they got the growing pains out. Either that or all the records just wrecked.
I mean, I say those two things go hand in hand. So, you win it either way. Jacob Emery wins a spot from Dalton Geyer. He's kind of in that Team DDI sandwich between Dalton Geyer and Zach Panzarella. Kind of an uncomfortable position to be in when you're between two teammates, probably conspiring against you, but Emery is moving his way forward, and somebody else who's continuing to move his way forward, it's Alan Dice. 3 minutes to go on the clock. He's running out of time. And has he found some tire life underneath that truck that we didn't know he had? It certainly looks like it because he is right to the back of Reese Bogue again.
Yeah, well, they always tell you that on a warm summer's evening, on a train bound from nowhere, that if you meet up with a stranger because you're both too tired to sleep, that you'll learn how to play poker really well. So if you're Alan Dice, at this moment, you better learn how to put a poker face on because you saw what Reese Bogue was doing. Reese Bogue went high. He went low. He went to the middle. He changed his line 3 or 4 different times in one corner to say, listen, if you're going to pass me, you better be really high, wide, and handsome. You better go touch the wall. Not the... I almost had a Finding Nemo reference, but I lost it.
We'll go fishing for it.
I was going to say he's going to have to touch the butt, but I almost said another word.
We're going to take, I believe, 3 laps to go here, if my mathematics are correct. Yes, they will be. When we get to the line, 3 laps to go for Reese Bogue. If we get a caution, the race will end under caution. If not, though, 6 more miles at Michigan for Reese Bogue, for Alan Dice, and for Mr. Dallas Sullivan. Looks like Hartman and Schmidt, they've been too busy fighting. I don't think they're going to be able to catch these 3. But what can Alan Dice do? It's one thing to ride in the draft. It's one thing to ride behind Reese Bogue. It's a whole other thing to pass him. Not many people have been able to do that tonight.
Well, to quote the great South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, what would Alan Dice do if he was racing for the last lap? Would he wreck Reese Bogue? Or maybe Dylan Sullivan? We'll have to ask what Alan Dice would do at the end of it.
Ricky Barbary still trying to stop the bleeding of his race. He has been falling back ever since he hit the wall. Jacob Emery is going to get by him. I think Dalton Geyer may be the next driver to attack Ricky Barbary, but Ricky is fighting tooth and nail for every position here. He knows he has that damage. He knows he needs to fight to stay in the top 10. He has been able to fight on Jacob Emery around the outside to turn 1. He's been able to carry a ton more speed. But that car is struggling. It is a shame for Ricky Barbary. He had the speed to fight for the win, just took a little bit too much and took a little bit too much on the wall. Or took a little bit too much out of the wall at the end of it all, unfortunately. But Reese Bogue's get around turns 3 and 4 here for the penultimate time. He's going to take the white flag. And I think Alan Dice might have used up every bullet in the chamber.
Yeah, he didn't. He might fall to Dallas, too. And comment in the chat, Zach Smith said Alan's too nice. Well, he probably is. He probably is too nice. I'm not nice. That's why I'm racing open wheel, so I can't hit anybody. But I would have moved him.
Reese Bogue in complete control down the back straight here. Alan Dice and Sullivan, they may fight through 3 and 4. Here comes Dallas Sullivan to the inside of Alan Dice on the final lap. It's a valiant effort. It's not going to work out for him. But up front, Reese Bogue came into this from the Richard Regan Jr. School of Driving. He's not a spotter anymore. He's a driver in his own right. And Reese Bogue wins it the first time of asking in the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. Alan Dice comes home P2 in his first race. Sullivan P3. Ricky Barbary so close to victory, fighting for that top spot. Hit the wall a couple times. He's going to end in P9 at the end of it all.
It's a good race. I know I was quite critical in the early portions of this, but I'm just a cynical butthole. It's kind of who I am. It's made well here in the iRacing spectrum of things, and even in the real world. But Reese Bogue, what a way to start your season. Richard Regan Jr. comes out and wins the championship last year, and does a good job. And Bogue comes out here this time, and I need to go to that school.
Maybe one day. The tuition is pretty high, but I think we'll be able to raise the funds for you. And you know what? I'm proud of us both, Terry. There's a whole race distance for Reese Bogue. Not a single peanut butter joke.
Not one. We're saving them. Nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger or my Reese's peanut butter cups either.
I will break out my robot voice in a couple weeks. I will do that. But for now, Reese Bogue does get the spoils of victory here at Legacy, Michigan. It's the 2009 scan of Michigan, but somehow I think this will be just as sweet of a victory in Michigan for him. Reese Bogue wins at the first time of asking over Alan Dice and Dallas Sullivan. William Hartman, his return to the Truck Series, finishes P4 ahead of Dylan Schmidt, probably his first top 5 in the Truck Series. Steve Loving, probably disappointed with P6. Zach Panzarella, P7. Jacob Emery, Ricky Barbary, and Dalton Geyer round out the top 10. And P11 went to Keith Miller. Colton Easterday survived to P12 in the other Regan Bogue Motorsports entry. Brian Hoskins stayed out of trouble in P13. Richard Pruitt, Oliver Goff, Adam Smith, Robert Goff, and Cole Larson rounded out the drivers on the lead lap. Aaron Gamushtal put it on pole, had the pace for the win. Just had a little bit of an error in turn 3, though, went 1 lap down, and then we get to the used truck lot already. Jeremy Bailey went 4 laps down. Garrett Austin went 8 laps down. James Dewar, Kyle Strykar, CM Punk Pennington, Thomas Brendel, Tillman Hewer, Matt Karakoff, Chris Justice, and Tom Amasi, and Nicholas Starling, and Patrick Cowgill all ran into assorted amounts of trouble over the course of the race tonight. But look at this. We got some quick drivers in the field here, and we are ready to talk to Reese Bogue. First race in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. First win in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. How was that in that final stint?
Oh my gosh, that was pretty crazy. I was just hanging on there, old tires, and just very happy that all these guys raced me clean, and needed a couple deep breaths after that one.
I can't blame you. Well, we know you've been spotting for Richard Regan Jr. these past couple of seasons in this series. How much of that has helped you coming into actually racing in the series this season?
It's helped me pretty good. Rich has taught me pretty well. He helped me out tonight. He was actually spotting for me tonight. He's my real life spotter and my iRacing spotter as well, apparently. And a lot of fun. He really helped me out. And it just keep me calm, keep me cool, collected, and just keep me very calm.
Put you on the spot here. Do you think Richard's going to win in the Xfinity race tonight? You think he can match you?
I sure hope he can. I'll be spotting for him then, but I hope he can, and hopefully we can get 2 wins in a row.
All right, we'll let you hop on that plane from virtual Michigan to virtual South Carolina so you can get up on that spotter stand at Darlington. But congrats on your first win. Great race, and we'll see you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for putting on the league. And quick shout out to Premier Racing Setups, Neonism, Z09 Photography, Richard Regan for spotting me, RBM, Regan Bogue Motorsports, and everybody else has helped out.
Reese Bogue, your first victor of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series this season. But we've got a driver who was called too nice in the chat by one of his friends, Terry. You're here with Alan Dice.
All right, Dice, ma'am. What could you have done there? They said you're too nice. You're not going to give a bumper?
First race in a new league, just trying to get my bearings for things. Had a lot of crashes early, and Yeah, he ran me down the track blocking a little bit, and I was inside of him, and I couldn't really get a run after that. I kept trying and just couldn't quite get it, so kind of settled in. I'll be okay with a P2 for the first week and kind of get my bearings in the league.
Well, you're going to come in here, obviously, with loaded dice racing.
I know it.
We talked about how loaded dice it's illegal in Vegas, but you going to show up next week at Canadian Tire and maybe go out there and load the field with dominance?
I'll tell you who you need to watch out for at any road course is going to be Dallas Sullivan. He's a buddy of mine. We ran together there. He was trying to push me a little bit, but he's the road course king. That's where I'm going to struggle a little bit. So unfortunately, I don't know. We'll see. I might surprise myself, but I think Dallas will do really well there.
All right, sounds like we're going to do some practice. Commentator and Dallas Sullivan. So Dallas will come up here and talk to us in a little bit. We'll get a practice session together and maybe get him to show me a couple pointers around here for next week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The trucks are a little different. I mean, we run some endurance races and stuff together, and we definitely run some cup stuff, but we'll see how it goes in the trucks.
Well, congratulations on your P2 here tonight, Alan, and it's good to finally hear voices from the new people in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. This league seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. The time thing's a little bit different, so that was fun to kind of watch with race labs throughout the race. And yeah, I was kind of nervous at the beginning of it, a lot of cautions, but it played out okay. I think we'll clean it up.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Congratulations on P2. That's Alan Dice and Tebben. You have that road course king guy coming up behind you. I think it's Dallas Sullivan?
Dallas Sullivan is indeed here. P3, another loaded dice racing driver, second and third in this race. Pretty good showing for you guys.
Yeah, that was a fun little race once we got a couple green flag laps in. First race with this league, so I was just trying to keep my nose clean, and I kind of saw some folks were getting pretty racy up there at the start. So just, like I said, try to keep it clean, and brought it home in third place here.
There's 9 more weeks to go in the season. We've all been looking at the calendar. We've been looking at all the wild card places: Talladega, Daytona, Hickory, wherever else, Rockingham. It's going to be a pretty crazy season, but what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, that Rockingham race I've got circled. I've always loved that track, no matter what car I'm driving. It's just real fun to hook the low line and get the car to rotate and blast around those high banks. So that's the one I definitely got on my list for the year. And Hickory's a pretty fun little track. I don't have as many laps there as I'd like, but definitely looking forward to going there later.
So it's basically the best possible start to the season for loaded dice racing. I'm sure both of you guys wanted the win, but second and third, that's going to be pretty good for the team's championship. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at the road course at Most Sport, and maybe loaded dice racing will be the next great team in the PRL.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. A little left and right turns north of the border, and we'll see you then, hopefully.
We will indeed see Dallas Sullivan again. P3 tonight, Terry. Loaded dice racing second and third, but it was Regan Bogue Motorsports P1 with Mr. Reese Bogue. That's going to be an interesting dynamic with Richard spotting for Reese and then Reese spotting for Richard. That means that neither of them really get the chance to practice.
Well, yes and no. I mean, throughout the week, a lot of those drivers get together and do official stuff. They go out and practice. I'm not 200% sure that they go out and race, but you see right here, a little lower third graphic. I'll pull Joey Tebben's job for a second. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, January 4th, 2023. That's right. 2023 is upon us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will go to, I would arguably say, the first or second. It's kind of close between America and Canada's national anthem. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Sing it with me, Trevin.
You've already beaten me because you know the second line. I couldn't get past "Oh, Canada."
And all thy sons come in.
We will indeed be in Canada in 2 weeks' time. Is that? I think my math is correct, but it will officially be 2023. We kick off the 2023 season a little bit early, but we will see you for more trucks in 2023. But don't go away just yet, because we are not done racing tonight. We have taken a virtual flight down to South Carolina to Darlington for the return of the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. Well, the return, I say, the first time ever on Wednesday nights. We used to race here on Sunday nights for a few seasons a couple of years ago, but for the first time on Wednesday nights, the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series is here for our pro drivers, for our top drivers, your Abner Acostas, your Bradley Hollies, your Richard Regan Jr.'s, your Jeff Evanses, and maybe even your Austin Hunters. They will all be with us here for the next 10 weeks. And here are the next 10 weeks coming up. I mentioned how crazy that calendar was in the Truck Series. Well, look at what we have in the Xfinity Series here.
Whoa.
Next week, we go to Michigan again, so that'll be an interesting dynamic going back to Michigan in these cars. But week 4, Spa-Francorchamps. It's not odd to go to a road course in the Xfinity cars, but I don't think any of these drivers will have driven this car at Spa before. Then we go to the Monza Oval, the full Indy Oval, the old Scan of Atlanta, Rockingham again, Daytona. This is going to be an insane Xfinity Series season.
Whoa. You can't sing Indy anymore.
That's not until 2023.
We'll be in 2023 by then. So when we get to that race, it's Motor Speedway. It's all we're going to say for the race time. Annapolis Motor Speedway. Well, let's just prepare ourselves now for the inevitable. Annapolis.
I'm most looking forward to that sort of Spa-Monza doubleheader. It's almost like we're going Xfinity F1 racing. We are on the road course at Spa. There's no Spa Oval, unfortunately, but we'll go to the road course at Spa, then we'll travel over to Monza, and we'll race at the left-turning oval at Monza, which is just absolutely insane. The bumps, the fact that you can go flying into the forest, the fact that somebody, Mark Kalin, is probably going to end up in the pit attenuator.
Ouch.
It's a crazy track.
Kalin, are you listening? He's
That's not a
calling
diss
you
on
out.
Mark Kalin. That's a diss on the rest of the field. They can't stay away from him.
Well, I personally am happy because all of our friends are back. These are the ones we have somewhat grown to enjoy. I mean, there's a couple of them I could live without. Just a couple. It kind of hurt my feelings. But we've added some new names over here, too. Trent Dinkles came over from the Cup Series side. He's going to race down here in these Xfinities. James O'Brien's over here. Joshua Daniel. He's down here and looking up and down the timing board. Some of the new Michael Diaz is over here. There is some names. Dominic Olivier is over here racing. This is super, super awesome to see that some of the drivers from the open wheel side, from the Cup side, is over here getting ready to race in these Xfinity cars, which I said this on RSR. These are the best damn cars you'll ever race on iRacing is right here.
If I had to say, it's very, very difficult, but I would say this is the most stacked PRL NASCAR field in history. Richard Regan Jr., Elliott White, who actually won the first race of the PRL GT3 Sprint Series last week, Dominic Olivier, who won the PRL GT3 Sprint Series race this week, Sean Campbell, who won 10 out of 10 races in GT4, who's been so strong in Lionheart IndyCar competition here on RaceSpot, who won so many races in GT3 last season after his car carousel, Trent Dinkle, your defending Cup Series champion as well. There is absolutely no shortage of talent in this field. It is one of the most insane NASCAR fields I've ever seen in the PRL, and Sean Campbell has just put it on pole ahead of Richard Regan Jr.
I don't care about the pole. Is that your face on the car?
No, that's Nicolas Cage.
And he just has a Nicolas Cage car.
Yeah, that's the Sean Campbell tradition.
His first race is Nick Cage?
Yep.
Best Nicolas Cage movie of all time, go.
I've only seen one, and it was Raising Arizona.
So let's
Sean Campbell, by the way, he just raised his lap time. The first driver down in the 29.9s. I was making fun of him during the truck race for being in our YouTube chat instead of practicing, but if you know Sean Campbell, you know that he's not a driver who tends to need a lot of race day practice. He's usually got things dialed in. He's usually ready to go. And clearly he is, because he's put it in the 29.9s. Daniel Knight, another driver returning for the highest level of PRL Wednesday night oval action. He was out last season. He was with us for a couple of races 2 seasons ago, but Daniel Knight, a multi-time winner, is back with us. And who else but Abner Acosta, the driver who won the playoff championship in both the Cup Series and the Truck Series in 2022. He's back as well. First lap behind his teammate Trent Dinkle. But let's see what the Tire Wizard can bring out in the second lap.
my wife said her favorite movie was National Treasure. We got a face-off out there. I'll tell you mine here in a little bit. And once we look at this beautiful lap from Abner Acosta, because here it goes to the top. He's gonna slower. Yeah, it was a little slower off the exit of the corner there. Just lost a tad bit, but fourth's not bad. I mean, you literally listed a name of people that was going to be up front. There's your top 4.
Yep. You can go through basically the entirety of this field. There are no weak spots in this field. All the way down, there's 27 drivers in the session. There's not a single weak driver in this field. It is I can't exaggerate it enough. It is an exceptional level of talent in this field. As I say that, Nicholas Hunter hits the wall, so maybe there are there's some blind spots.
Well, we'll give him a pass. You know, he's like
no,
that,
he doesn't get a pass. He gets even less of a pass. We got to be even more critical of him because he's one of our special helpers on Sunday night.
We can't. Well, we can't. I mean, we can. I pick on him enough in the Discord. You know, he's my special little man, and he knows it. He's Papa Terry's favorite helper. But you know, we got to be somewhat nice to him. We don't want him to, like, you know, be mad at us. Oh, it's Con Air. Con Air's the greatest movie of all time. From Nick
Speaking
Cage.
of special little men, Sean Campbell comes into the Xfinity Series, puts it on pole in his first race because that is just a Sean Campbell thing to do. He starts alongside defending Truck Series champion Richard Regan Jr., defending Cup Series champion Trent Dinkles here on Wednesday nights with us now. He starts third alongside his teammate and 2022 playoff champion in the Trucks End Cup, Abner Acosta. Elliott White, a NASCAR College Series competitor in these cars, as well as an everything else on iRacing competitor, starts fifth alongside the winningest driver in PRL history, Bradley Holly. P7 went to Josh Daniels, scored the most points out of anyone in 2022 in the Cup Series. He starts alongside Thomas Sink. Jeff Evans, who got his second win in Truck Series competition last season, starts ninth, and his Championship 4 competitor from last season in the Trucks, Danny Cervantes, starts alongside him. James O'Brien is back with us on Wednesday nights. He starts 11th alongside Adam Zemke in 12th. Then it's Jose the Funky Cold Medina, taken to the Xfinity cars very well in P13. He starts alongside Jeff Hollingsworth. Jeremy Consalves for Precision Racing Esports starts 15th, alongside another driver returning to Wednesday nights. It's good old Michael Diaz, last season's GT4 champion. Dominic Olivier won last night in the GT3s. He's here in the Xfinity cars, and he starts alongside the last driver to win in the Xfinity car in the PRL, Austin Hunter. He's got a little bit of work to replicate that, though. Doug Evans won his first race last season. He's officially with Whataback this season. He starts 19th alongside Daniel Knight, who returns. Nicholas Hunter struggled in qualifying. He starts alongside Mark Kalin. Ryan Traver and Jim Westerfield round out the top 24. Then Charles Sumner did not set a lap time. He'll start P25. Brandon Walter, the third of the private label team hype driver, starts 26th. And Doyle Lawrence, I guess fittingly for riding Shotgun Motorsports, will start shotgun on the field. But I don't think he's actually on the grid. I think he's still in the pit lane. So it'll be 26 drivers here, unless Doyle Lawrence gets off pit road. We got a few moments to go here at Darlington, Terry. Normally, Darlington is a place that rewards the tire savers, the tire wizard Abner Acosta, your Bradley Holly, but Sean Campbell's on pole. That just tells me that everything's been shaken up.
Yeah. And what does Sean always say to us at the end of whenever he jumps in the booth and talks to us after a while? That he's fast and he's going to win some stuff. I'm not going to go against my Whataback teammates because, yes, obviously I'm, Team Whataback in the IRO4s. So I'm going to pick a winner, and I'm going to say Richard Regan Jr., even though I don't want him to win.
See if Richard Regan Jr. can match up his Wednesday night antics from last season, but the green flag is ready to go at Darlington. Sean Campbell, his first race in the oval side in the PRL, his first pole on the oval side in the PRL. We're green at Darlington. trouble in the background already. I think that's Thomas Sink who got into the wall off of turn 4. He's gotten away with it, but at the end of lap 1, Thomas Sink already nursing a little bit of damage on the right side of that car as Richard Regan Jr. peeks to the inside of Sean Campbell for the lead.
Yeah, the inside here is going to work if you're able to make it stick. You got to hold the bottom. Obviously, this is not as wide as what we just saw at Michigan, but when you make this work, you want to sweep down to the bottom, let the car float, allow that balance to roll you all the way through the corner. Don't check up. Don't pull out of the throttle just because there's a car to your outside. You can make them just as uncomfortable against that wall. Oh, no, he caught him.
Gets turned by Richard Regan Jr. A good save from Sean there, but they were playing with inches there, and they did come together. Campbell saved it. Doesn't look like he has any damage, but Regan and Campbell already making contact for the lead.
All right, you remember what I just said. You're scaring them on that outside against that wall just as much as they're scaring you against the apron. And Richard Regan Jr. Pulled out to that race lead real quick. And you see that little smoke bubble that's coming off the wall. It's nothing to be concerned about. You're going to see that quite a bit here. It's just a little bubble that's right there against the wall that you're going to see that's going to pop up where the fenders are flared out. And it's just going to scrape it. So far, this is a very clean race. I mean, 4 laps in, you look at the replay here, just incidental contact there.
Regan on the inside, Campbell on the outside. I don't know if you can really put blame on anybody there. It's just very, very close quarters. These are fairly big cars, and racing that hard for the lead, it's almost like it's bound to happen.
Yeah, it's just Darlington. I mean, you think of any other racetrack in the world where you're telling a driver that the outside is okay. You're encouraging it. You're encouraging the wall, and you're saying if you don't run the wall, you're going to lose this race. And 3 and 4, you kind of want to play with the bottom a little bit, and then you get back up to the top once the tires wear in. But look at that, the eye of the tiger. He hadn't talked a whole lot of crap all week. Normally I go in the Discord and I talk to him and get a feeler of where they're at. Bradley hasn't said nothing. He's just been focused. Not Abner Acosta hasn't even been talking a lot of crap. They said one thing: Richard Regan Jr. is faster in the Xfinity car than he is in the trucks.
That is a pretty scary thought for Richard Regan Jr. to be faster in this car than he was in the trucks, but it does seem to be the case, at least in this little bit of the data set. Josh Daniels makes the move on Thomas Sink, who may be nursing a little bit of damage. We did see Thomas Sink get into the wall in lap 1. It doesn't look like it was especially bad, but if we do get a look at the right side of that car, I guess we'll see, is Thomas Sink really struggling, or is this just there's a little bit of the rhythm he's trying to get into, because his teammate Danny Cervantes is all over the back of him, as is Jeff Evans. I do wonder if Thomas Sink is going to be nursing that damage all night.
Yeah, you're going to... Damage honestly doesn't matter here in this racetrack. This place in Martinsville and Bristol. And I'm going to throw Hickory in there too. Rockingham, it means a good bit. You'll see that short track really play dividends when it comes into... people having issues when it comes to getting in the wall and whatnot. But here, you're going to pop the wall just for the hell of it. Every time I go in an official race, I expect to go get 2X because I just drive it into 1 just to go, yep, I want my stripe early. Here's a guy that told us he was going to catch the wall, and there he goes, right in the wall. We put a spotlight on him every week. Look at him in his little, he's so cute, this little Christmas hat. Austin, what are you doing?
I'm dreaming of an Austin Hunter Christmas. There's probably a better reference I could have made there, but I was on the spot. I had to think of something quick, but...
You better watch out. You better not.
It probably is better
better
for him.
Not pout, I'm telling you why.
He's got some work to do. P19, he really wants to defend his Xfinity win, whatever. He was the last driver to win in the Xfinity cars. You get the idea. He's got about 18 spots to make up, though, but anything can happen. Crazier things have happened to Darlington. Crazy things are still happening to Thomas Sink. He's just been passed by his teammate Danny Cervantes for P8.
Yeah, I mean, the Grinch stole Christmas and then had a bigger heart and brought Christmas back, saved Cindy Lou Who, all in the matter of an hour-and-a-half movie. And his heart did something that should have never happened. It got 3 sizes too big that day, in which now in modern science, I mean, you're going to die. It's just a massive heart attack. You're laying on the floor and somebody's attempting to revive you. But I mean, his heart got massive. Did you see how big that thing was at the end? Not as big as the gap that these drivers put on back there to the 77 of Joshua Daniels, where it is a 3-second lead all the way up to get to Elliott White. It's a train of drivers all the way to the front, and then you got these guys back here.
Bad news for Mark Kalin fans. The train has been kind of broken up because Mark Kalin has heavy front end damage. He's riding about 10 seconds behind the pack. I don't want to laugh at him, but it's just that tragedy plus time equals comedy, and it's been a long time of tragedy for Mark Kalin.
If he would just learn to throw that.
Whoa,
oh, Thomas, get out of the wall.
And we didn't know if he had damage before. He definitely does now.
What are you doing, Sink? It's got a composite body on it, and there's more people.
And that's the first real wreck. Daniel Knight, Jose the Funky Cold Medina, Dominic Olivier around. No caution comes out. Jose's still
They're out of the racing groove.
We'll see if Jose can get it going straight again. Hopefully he doesn't bring out the caution, but huge trouble for Dominic Olivier. He's going to join Mark Kalin with damage at the back of the pack, and that might be Jose Medina's day done already. Let's see what happened.
Just pops the wall. 24 does. 69's in there. Not in the racing line. iRacing very much states you stay out of the racing line, you stay out of the racing surface, and that clearly is the apron. Very unique racetrack with the layout where you got all this pavement and no racing surface. You know, that's probably why a lot of them were upset.
About 8 minutes into this race. Again, this is a timed race, just like the Truck Series race earlier. That was a 40-minute race. We've got 50 minutes of racing on the clock here. The laps go by pretty quick here. Only 30-second laps, and also the tires go by pretty quick here. They tend to struggle at the end of these races here. We've seen a lot of races in the PRL at Darlington that have gone basically caution-free to the end. We've had ridiculously long runs where people like Abner Acosta and Bradley Holly have excelled because of their tire-saving abilities. It looks like we might just get another one of those long runs unless there is some kind of pileup. Maybe Thomas Sink gets in the wall again, but if not, cautions come at a premium here.
Well, I tell you, we need to go look at that rattle for the race lead because Trenton Dinkle and Sean Campbell are there. And at the moment, Campbell's going to look for this lead. Was able to kind of reel him in last time by. Lap times were a little bit better here. I don't know what Richard's doing, if he's backing it up to intentionally pull a little bit of strategy to make him go in that dirty air, but he is. You take a look right here. It's a replay of them catching a lap car, Bradley Holly, Abner Acosta going for that fourth place position. Abner holds on to it. They do a great save getting past the lap car, and they almost made contact there off the exit.
And that was Jose Medina, who's just trying to bring the car home. I'm honestly surprised that car is still rolling because that was head on into the safer barrier, but Jose's still trying to bring it home. Hopefully that engine doesn't pop, but we'll see how long he can make it. Just Abner and Bradley Holly did make it through. Just a little bit of an extra chicane there down the front straight, we will say. We ride on board now, or we ride in room, I should say, with Richard Regan Jr. He's got the OV gloves back. He's got the VR back. And as usual, he's got about 1,000 Nicolas Cages behind him, and Sean Campbell doesn't look to be fretting at all.
What's behind the door? It's like, what's behind door number 1 over here? Like, potentially a bed. Maybe that leads to a hallway. I want to know where it leads, but I tell you what it's leading him to. It's leading Sean Campbell up here to challenge for this lead. And you don't see the look of a changed face here. He's sitting in there. Campbell's not playing around. He might be repaying this contact, and he just barely air tapped him there.
I think both of these drivers should be thanking whoever their internet service provider is, because that was absolutely minuscule. There was no gap between those two cars. And as these two battle side by side, who's on the scene? It's Trent Dinkle in the number 501, back in his old number. He's still with private label Team Hype, but he's put the number 501 on that car again. And the caution is out on the speedway for the first time. Was it Jose Medina? Did that engine finally expire? I am not sure, but the caution is out for the first time tonight. Trying to diagnose the issue, trying to figure out who actually brought out that caution, but it's a little bit of a mystery caution. I don't know who caused it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good little breakup of 21 laps.
Dominic
Here we go.
Olivier, we found him, and was it Brandon Walter getting into him? That's Austin Hunter behind.
Austin tagged him. Come on, Austin, do better.
I'm surprised that was a caution, though. He was only sideways for a short amount of time, but the caution system at Darlington is finicky. Sometimes you think it's not bringing out the caution when it should. Other times you're thinking it shouldn't have brought out the caution at all, but you got to live and die by the iRacing rules. The caution is out here after 10 minutes of racing, and understandably, the entire field is coming down pit road here after shredding those tires for a little while. Richard Regan Jr. leads us onto pit road. We know he's got a lot of Xfinity car experience in pit lane, but Sean Campbell has a lot of Xfinity experience in the official races. He's been doing a ton of practice, but it's his first PRL oval pit stop, and there's always the possibility for overcooking your box and throwing everything away.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. I, on the other hand, tomorrow have a lot of pit practice, the open wheel side. But, interesting topic you bring up, iRacing. The holiday sale is still going on. So if you want to get your loved one the gift that keeps on giving, iRacing with Terry. It's 50% off new members, 25% off renewals, and it runs all the way through the end of the year. Holiday sale. Push, push, push.
Richard Regan Jr. wins the race off pit road, ahead of Sean Campbell, ahead of Trent Dinkle, ahead of Abner Acosta, ahead of Bradley Holly. So no real changes there on pit road. Basically, the way they came in was the way they came out. A few drivers at the back of the field, I think, are still waiting, getting some damage fixed. Of course, Austin Hunter, Dominic Olivier, Mark Kalin, Ryan Traver, Jose the Funky Cold Medina actually didn't come down pit road to get any damage fixed because he's getting the wave around. He's going to be back on the lead lap, so he'll have to wait a little bit while to get a lot of that damage fixed.
So what do you think? We went 21 laps green straight. Think we go 21 again? You think that incidental contact there gets a little bit more, intentional?
It's a good question, but I don't know. I think it's lovely weather down in Darlington. Hopefully, it'll just be a nice, calm sleigh ride to the end.
I like these Christmas references that we're going.
That one
with
was
here.
that one was a real stretch, but you gotta try your best.
I have nothing for that one. I'm zingy.
It isn't royalty free. It hasn't been released into the public domain. I do have to do my research for tomorrow night. What is in the public domain? Which Christmas songs, which holiday songs as a whole have been around for long enough that we can just sing them on the broadcast? Are
you on the show for tomorrow?
Yeah, of course.
I thought you were missing Thursday.
No, it'll be me and Justin. We'll be in a winter wonderland.
Yeah, I thought we literally had this conversation. You said that you wasn't going to do Thursday nights.
I'm not regularly, but we have an open Thursday here. I have an open Thursday here. Of course, I'm going to be on the Thursday broadcast.
You wanted to come be a part of Terry's first PRL race.
That, and also the return of Atomic Racing driver Robert Ridgway in the F3 Series, the graduation of Hamilton to Cabo Easy into the F3 Series. That's my series. I'm pretty happy with it, but of course, Terry Radford making his IRO4 debut. Got to be there for that.
You are such a supportive. You're going to be surprised. You saw my paint scheme out there. You're going to tell me that I'm stupid. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm okay with the 50-something people watch it too to tell me the same thing. I finally learned how to download VRS to look at telemetry. At midnight last night, I watched the perfect lap around Long Beach, and I was so far off of a perfect lap around Long Beach. I just figured it out.
Ready to go green again here at Darlington. It's Richard Regan Jr. on pole on the restart, I guess I can say for the moment. Sean Campbell to his outside. Trent Dinkle and Abner Acosta for private label team hype row 2. 35 minutes left on the clock. We're green once more at Darlington. It's a great restart from Richard Regan Jr. Campbell not clear of Trent Dinkle into turn 1 just yet. Now he is. He's able to get down to the bottom. But Richard Regan Jr., a great restart from him. He's already pulled a few car lengths over Sean Campbell, but we know Campbell's not going anywhere.
Nah, he's not going to go anywhere for a while. You see a little looseness back there in the backdrop of this. And what a painting this was. The camera shots that Hugo Luis gives us all the time here at RaceSpot. Big kudos to him. Everybody out there in the chat, comment and say you love Hugo, or I will personally start taking everybody's rights away to chat. I have that power in there. Hugo is the boss. But great racing. This is just a picture-perfect time. When you see him rocking it off of the corner at full speed, not getting in each other's way, lap cars are staying to the bottom, using common sense, and I love it.
Michael Diaz has gone a lap down after that pit cycle. Not entirely sure why that happened. He must have had some phantom damage that we didn't see because he was in the box for 43 seconds. So Michael Diaz has gone 1 lap down. Dominic Olivier with his damage is 2 laps down. Jose the Funky Cold Medina with that massive hit to the inside wall. He's still on the lead lap. He's still trucking around. So these cars are stronger than we thought as we ride on board now with Richard Riga Jr. looking out of the rear end of that Toyota Supra. Sean Campbell, he's normally a scary sight to see in your mirrors because you know he's not going anywhere. You know he's going to keep attacking you, but it is just even more scary when you've got a Hydra, a Cerberus, whatever it is. There's just 15,000 heads staring at you.
And especially in VR, you think about how creepy it is to look at it like right now. It's just Nicolas Cage. And maybe if Nicolas Cage is watching, I still think you're one of the best looking guys out there.
Here comes Sean Campbell.
He's there. Nicolas Cage to the inside. Oh!
Contact again on exit. A little bit of a ride up on the inner wheel panel for Sean Campbell there. A little bit of a wheelie. These two have been getting away with things they probably shouldn't be getting away with, and I have a feeling that's not going to be the last contact we see.
No. That's not the last contact we'll see. You know who's not going to make contact with each other? Abner Acosta and Bradley Holly, who's back there. My official teammate in Bradley Holly, who I'm going to be 1,000,000% with you. I'm upset with him. Disappointing season in the trucks. Had a chance to win, but, you know, I'm not saying that he's not going to get a win here this year. I don't think he's going to win the Xfinity Series.
That would be historic because on Wednesday nights, Bradley Holly has still not had a winless season. Every single season Bradley Holly has entered on Wednesday nights, he's gotten at least 1 win. Now, the past 2 seasons, it's only been that 1 win in the season, but he's still got the streak going. That's all that matters. And now that we have switched to the Xfinity car for the first time, he's not in his truck series. It's entirely possible that streak could end.
I mean, looking at the schedule-wise, while I think some of them, kind of fit him, and he's fast. Don't get me wrong; he'll be in contention to win one. I just don't think he will. I think there's the competition level rose even higher, and he's going to watch this back, and he's probably going to say, "Terry, why did you say that?" Well, I'm trying to fuel you a little bit. I said he wasn't going to win in the trucks last year. The race I missed, he goes out and wins. And they didn't get to celebrate it there. But we go over here to 14th, our private label team hype driver Brandon Walter trying to get the pass here on Thomas Sink with a ton of damage. I mean, Thomas Sink has beaten that wall, immensely here. I don't know why he's hitting the wall so much, but this 99's still clean.
You remember when Brandon Walter started this race? He didn't set a qualifying lap time. He started dead last as far as I remember. He started 26th. He's up 12 spots since then. He's just slowly inching his way forward. His 2 private label team hype teammates, 3rd and 4th. He's up 12 spots. He might just join them in a little bit.
Calm down. That's a lot of passing here at Darlington. Once you get 11, 12 laps on your tires, you then have to wait for that person to make the mistake. You'll make the pass with people wrecking or people getting loose into the wall and pulling down to the apron. But making a pass here at Darlington is much different than making the pass at Michigan. Michigan, you sail it to the outside, sail it down to the bottom, pull that thing up the hill, and let it work. Here at this racetrack, no. Patience is the only thing that's going to make you get that pass. Is you have to wait for them to make the mistake. And Bradley Holly's learning it the hard way right here. Back up here to that 5th place and a battle for 4th. He's learning, and he's going to wait for Abner Acosta to make the mistake before he pulls into the 4th place position.
It's going to be a long time waiting for Abner Acosta to make a mistake, though. These 2 drivers, Holly, of course, a much longer running driver in the Precision Racing League on the oval side than Abner Acosta, but it has been so many seasons over the past couple of years that these two have been racing with each other on Wednesday nights that they both might as well be equal in experience. Richard Regan Jr. and Sean Campbell again have found each other for the lead. Side by side through 3 and 4 there was not an inch of room between those two Supras once more. Here they go again, side by side. Campbell washes up just a little bit. Richard Regan Jr. about an inch out of the wall. And Sean Campbell, is he finally going to lead this race? Yes, no. But not quite. He's not quite clear.
Oh, I'm
They're still banging. They're still banging doors.
Oh, I'm dying. Yeah, the contact again. This time Sean gets clear. But now what's Richard going to do? You know, Richard's going to have to go up here and get this lead back. It's just a lot of contact was made right there in a short amount of time. And now you look back here. Here's Trent Dinkle. Look at this guy. Got an extra set of pedals back here. I feel like he's the kind of guy that goes to the gym at like 4 in the morning. Like he has that face. Like he just goes to the gym just to go to the gym.
Are you just saying that because it's red all the time?
No, that's rude. I'm saying, like, look at him. If he lifted his like you saw his arms before we pulled the Trent Dinkle thing up, he actually had a little buff on those things. Like, it definitely looks like if he got mad, he would just snatch that wheel clear off the base.
It is weird seeing Trent Dinkle's face on Wednesday night. He's our Sunday night guy. He's been so good in the past couple of seasons. After moving to private label Team Hype, he's been the guy on Sunday night with Abner Acosta and with Richard Regan Jr. for that matter. But he's here with us on Wednesday nights, and no surprise, he's fighting with all those same guys and Sean Campbell for the lead.
Well, I mean, it's iron sharpens iron. At least that's the motto I try to go with when it comes to work and it comes to here is you surround yourself with good, competitive people that raise the competition level to a new height. That's what these guys do. You know, you look at Abner Acosta, dominated trucks, and then Richard Regan comes in, and he had a challenger. You know, and there's 2 truck champions right here in the past 2 seasons for the PRL, and then 3 if you want to count Bradley Holly right here in there. So champion in the truck sitting second, champion in 4th, champion in 5th, and then you got Cup Series champions up there sitting in that 3rd place position. And Sean Campbell just so happens to just winning just about everything he goes in. So smart moving is here we go with the pass up here for 3rd with Abner Acosta.
Tire Wizard versus Trent Dinkle. In the Cup Series, we talked a lot about how Abner was the tire wizard, Trent was the tire apprentice, and recently Trent has kind of beaten the master at his own game. Trent Dinkle has been a match for Abner Acosta in terms of tire saving. It's still too early in the stint to really talk about tire saving abilities right now. We've only done about 19 laps, but right now Dinkle and Acosta seem pretty evenly matched, and Abner is on the attack now. He definitely wants to pass his teammate if he can.
You must not have raced around Darlington quite a bit. 2 laps on this racetrack, you're saving tires. And you're figuring out how to make those tires last for a duration of a run. These things are screaming, son. There goes Abner to the bottom on Trent Dinkle. He put Trent Dinkle in the wall. Yeah, he did. That's what I'm talking about.
Abner Acosta put Trent Dinkle in the wall. We didn't see it. The camera cut away a little bit, so Abner might have some plausible deniability, but we saw the effects of that. I think Trent Dinkle definitely got put in the wall there. And now in the checkup, Bradley Holly had to check up behind those 2. That allows Elliott White in that pastel pink Supra to peek to the inside. Haven't talked much about Elliott White so far tonight. He's just been kind of riding and biding his own time. And now he's in the wall, and Danny Cervantes gets by him for P6.
Look at old Daniel Cervantes. Having a good run. I don't want to jinx him. I know when you praise him, he slaps the wall and does things. Good for you. Look at this move here, though. The 5 goes down in the corner and just washes up, never made contact, but scared Trent Dinkle just enough. And actually, Bradley was getting loose. He was about to put him in the wall. That's when he checked up on exit to allow Elliott White to get the run right there. But he still wasn't able to make it work, though.
So I think officially, for the sake of the courts, for the sake of the law, Abner didn't put Trent in the wall, but he certainly scared him into the wall.
That's a big part here at Darlington. You could scare the mess out of somebody. I'll go back to what I said earlier. People think I have a crappy memory. Potentially. that bottom side scares the top just as much as the other way around. You can pinch all you want here, but the bottom side could pinch you into the wall as well. You know, you have no room for error at all around here. One small move turns this race upside down.
Trent Dingle now just trying to defend from Bradley Holly. He's defending from Danny Cervantes as well. A sequence of 3 blue cars. I don't know if that's Danny Cervantes' final paint scheme. I think he may have a Whataback paint scheme coming to us next time around, but for now, it is a sea of blue for these drivers, and then one little pink standout in Elliott White, who still hasn't been especially flashy. We haven't seen him make any big moves, but he's a driver who knows how to drive these Xfinity cars. You've seen him, Terry, in the NASCAR College Series in these very cars. He's just biding his time. He's doing the Darlington thing, just hanging back for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I covered him for 2 seasons now in the NASCAR College Series, and it's good to have people come over from that and able to run in this series. As Abner Acosta made the pass for second, but Elliott White, very smart, you know, understands what he's doing, and nice pink paint scheme. Would have been funny to see the college scheme out here on that thing, but very good driver, and we're going to see a lot of him here in the PRL. This might not be his best track. I think coming down the road, we're going to see that here's your 3 train breakaway. These are the 3 that I think are going to be the ones up here fighting for this championship at the end of it. And Trent and Bradley will be there, but that's your main 3 that broke away from this pack by almost 2 seconds.
This is really like the hardest possible place where you could open the season. I guess you could argue that Rockingham is a similar level of difficulty, but to open the season at Darlington, it's one of the ultimate tasks for any of these drivers who have to look up at Sean Campbell, at Abner Acosta, at Regan, Dinkel, Holly, Elliott White, everybody. You got to take them on at Darlington in the first race of the season.
Why not start hard? This is where you know.
Bradley Holly to the inside of Trent Dinkel. Dinkel's in the wall again. Cervantes is going to get by Trent Dinkel as well. Will he be clear? Yes, he will off the wall, but there is contact. That's Trent Dinkel in the wall. He's down onto the apron. Daniel Knight had nowhere to go as well. Again, caution's not going to come out because they are down on the apron. But Trent Dinkel's second hit in the wall, it ends in a third hit in the wall and heavy damage.
I'm going to put that on Cervantes. That was a racing move. I mean, you look at the replay right here. Look at him come across the nose, just so slightly caught the nose going up on the going up the racetrack. Thought he was clear, caught him just a tad bit, got him in the wall, and around they go. But that was late race at Darlington. But holy mess, Abner's there.
Trent Dinkel's first foray on Wednesday night ends early, but his teammate Abner Acosta's still alive, and Sean Campbell, the driver who is kind of a wizard in any kind of car, whether you put him in a GT4, a GT3, an Indy car, something on a different sim, he can drive it all, but even he falls to the magic of the tire wizard at some point, because Abner Acosta has been saving his stuff, as he always does. And there is some miraculous tire life onto that car, and he's going to peek to the inside of Sean Campbell coming into 1.
He just gets a really good exit off at 3. Lap time wise, Abner's just a little bit faster. He was able to peek that line, but his exit off for the corners. Look at him here. Oh, no, they're both in the wall.
They are both in the wall. Richard Regan Jr. takes the lead from both of them. Campbell and Acosta both get in the wall simultaneously. And Richard Regan Jr. says, "Thank you very much, both of you. I will take that lead back."
That was a gift. And you were talking about in the Christmas spirit. He's definitely in the Christmas spirit now. He's probably thinking jingle bells. Caution's
and the
out.
Caution is out. The caution bells are jingling, and we are listening. And it's Doug Evans in the middle of the field. Doesn't look to be heavily damaged necessarily, but I have to imagine if it was another situation that we saw with Austin Hunter and Dominic Olivier. First, let's see what happened to Campbell and Acosta. Target fixation. Campbell gets a little bit loose. Acosta just follows him into the wall.
That stinks. And you take a look at what happened here. What happened? What brought the caution out?
Maybe it wasn't Doug Evans. Maybe we've falsely accused him of bringing out the caution. Let's see here. Into 3 and 4. That's Sumner and Brandon Walter ahead. It was Charles Sumner who got in the wall. Brandon Walter right behind him. Again, they're both pointing in a straight line. That should not have been a caution, but you're at the behest of the iRacing caution algorithm. He was, I guess, past 45 degrees sideways or whatever it is, and iRacing said, you know what, that'll be a caution for you.
I'm not complaining. I mean, I want to see now that Richard Regan has damage, Sean Campbell has damage, Abner Acosta has damage. Bradley Holly just got handed this race if he could close it out.
There was just a little bit of an argument on pit entry. I don't know if you saw that between Regan and Campbell. Sean peeked a nose to the inside of Richard. Richard just did a little jerk to the left, said, nope, Sean, you're not getting in there. You're not doing any of that. So it's the first race in this series for Sean Campbell, and tempers are already starting to flare a little bit with some of the old guard.
Well, you know, you have to flex a little muscle when you first come into a series, especially if you're Sean Campbell or, you know, Elliott White or one of these drivers in here that everybody praised Richard Regan last season. Everybody thought he was the guy coming into this season. You got to come in here and show him a little bit. Like, hey, I don't care who you are. I'm him. I'm that guy. And go in there.
Still alive over there, Terry?
Yeah. Did you not hear me?
I thought we lost you mid-sentence there.
No, that's all I got. I'm distracted.
You're distracted by the power of the cough drop, as we all are. Those strawberry breezers or whatever they're called, they are. I can eat a whole bag of those. They're pretty great.
Well, I'm trying to mute every time I cough, and it gets a little harder, and it gets harder and harder and harder. And then the moment you get mid-sentence, or you get partially in a sentence, and then you go, oh, I can't breathe, and then you start to choke up a little bit, and you're like, all right, just hold it in. And then you have nothing to spit up into. So everything that comes out, it just has to sit here. And I have to spit, you know, into this trash can that's at my feet and hope I don't get it on my foot.
I think that was a medical lesson in otolaryngology there. We learned all about the inner tracts of your sinuses and your throat, Terry. I think we can send that to the medical school.
Well, I'll give some context to why I'm sick. So I'm an idiot. I don't normally drink, but I had a Christmas party. I drank about 2 bottles of vodka, flavored vodka, and I did a little karaoke, did a little bit of more vodka, you know, did a bit of, you know, dancing. And when I say dancing, I just kind of bobbed in place. And then, you know, you don't eat because, you know, you're drinking. And then you make a mess in your car. And then you get sick.
Elliott White, by the way, I think he's the biggest winner from that pit cycle. I thought that nobody was really winning from that pit cycle, but Elliott White came in about 7th. He's up to 4th on this restart. Something about that pit lane, you know, to compete in the highest levels of NASCAR on iRacing, you got to know the pit lane tricks. You got to know how to master that box. Elliott White's clearly found something because he's made up 3 spots that he's not going to have to make up on track here. But up front, it'll be Richard Regan Jr. and Sean Campbell alongside each other once more. How many times have these two found the side of each other over the course of the race tonight? 3, 4, 5, more than that. Well, they found each other once more. There's 15 minutes left to go on the clock. We'll see if we can make it all the way to the end green. You can do it on fuel. That's not the worry. It's just the question of how can you save your tires for 30 laps around Darlington. Will it be Richard Regan Jr.? Will it be Sean Campbell? Will it be the tire wizard Abner Acosta? Could Elliott White pick something off here? Who in the world knows? But we're ready to go green once more at Darlington. Richard Regan Jr.'s at the point of the field, and we're racing again in South Carolina.
That was a really good restart from Richard Regan Jr. right there. Caught Sean Campbell napping quite a bit on that outside lane. Now here's Abner Acosta going to 3rd. it'll slide in with Elliott White. But for Bradley Holly and them on that pit stop, they had a little bit of damage repair. So that's partially the reason why they slipped back. But here we go, side by side through the field.
Danny Cervantes recovering from a bad pit stop himself. He's side by side with James O'Brien here. James in the 33. He's going to have the run on the outside, but he pinches Cervantes down a little bit. Danny's not going anywhere just yet. And Jeff Evans in that Miracle Flow Magenta entry. Haven't talked about him much tonight, but once again, he's just been staying out of trouble. He's been running his own race, and suddenly he finds himself behind his teammate with damage. And up front, Elliott White in the pastel pink entry to the inside of Abner Acosta, who we know has damage. Elliott White is in basically a completely pristine car other than a little Darlington stripe on the right side. And speaking of pristine cars, Bradley Holly doesn't even have a stripe on that car. Holly and Elliott White are easily the two cleanest cars in this top 5, and they've both found each other in 3rd and 4th.
I think Holly potentially could be in the catbird seat right here. Never mind, caution's out.
Back out. Caution is back out. Who was it this time? Let's see, around the back of the field. Nobody immediately seems to have brought out the caution, but that's been the case with every caution tonight. It hasn't been something that's easily diagnosed.
I say nobody lit up on my timing screen. Normally I get a little marker that pops up that says that something happened. I have no marker. Nobody lost any spots either. Like in that run, nobody lost anything from where they were at.
That makes me think that it's somebody from the back. If they didn't lose any spots, it was Jose Medina or Traver or Diaz or somebody like that. But it's a mystery. Here's Doug Evans again. Was it Doug Evans, or was it something ahead of Doug Evans like the last caution? That's Brandon Walter ahead of him. Austin Hunter. That's not Austin Hunter, but whoever it was got into the back of Doug Evans. That was Daniel Knight, I believe.
What a save. Doug.
And also, that wasn't Daniel Knight. Forgive me. That was Jeff Hollingsworth, I think, or Jeremy Gonsalves. There's new paint schemes on these cars this season, so I can't determine who it was, but I think it's Jeff Hollingsworth.
Way to go, PRL crew or drivers, for not coming up here and telling us your exact paint scheme to a T. Like, you should come in here and detail us out layer on layer of what your what's your car.
Like I could go for a spotter guide. You know, maybe I should have hopped in the practice session before the race started. Maybe that would have been smart. But we fly by the seat of our pants here. We'll learn eventually, and maybe it is better for whoever ran into Doug Evans there. We can't not identify Doug Evans though, because those Miracle Flow paint schemes over at Whataback, you're never going to differentiate those, or you're never going to confuse those with another paint scheme. You always know where Jeff is, and you always know where Doug is. I
got one tomorrow. It's going to be pretty sick.
I know. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's got a little checkerboard on it. Little Tennessee love, like, normal.
I've also beat it on lap time by 2 seconds, but we'll see if that improves tomorrow night.
Hold up. What was your lap time?
I think I don't remember because the track was weird, but
I got it down in the official session yesterday to a 120 flat.
Ooh. You were in the 123s earlier in the week.
I sure was. I put in some time, my guy. You're right. I am determined to go out here and win. Like, I have nothing to prove to me, not a thing in the world to prove to myself. But I made a commitment to RaceSpot, and I made a commitment to Whataback. I want to be taken more seriously as a broadcaster across the board, with open wheel stuff, with the road course side of things. And the only way to get taken more seriously is to sit my happy tail down and go do it. If I don't race in it, how are they going to trust me to go call it? I'm going to go make them trust me. I'm going to go win some races, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, this guy proved it. And then I'm going to go swing my little tail over to the GT3s next season, and take a step back and go call GT and eventually race GT3s and go call them. I'm going to be the road guy over here at RaceSpot, not the NASCAR guy, the road guy.
I'll say that my expectations are, I'm deliberately lowering them so I can be surprised. I think I'm not gunning for the Terry win just yet, but if that does happen, I will be pleasantly surprised, and I think everybody will. Everybody who does tune in tomorrow night for the IR04 broadcast, it's IR04s at Long Beach. You're guaranteed to see some pretty insane racing and kind of a race of survival and a race of attrition, but you also are guaranteed to see the debut of Terry. We'll see if all the talk will live up to something here. We do have a restart coming up here, though. 9 minutes to go. 8 minutes 50, probably about 8 minutes 30 to go once we get to the line. That should be about 17 laps to the end of the race. We do go green. And again, it's Richard Regan Jr. and Sean Campbell starting on the front row. Elliott White, Bradley Holly behind. Josh Daniels has been slowly inching his way forward. He's up into P5. And that's Acosta, Cervantes, O'Brien, Sink, and Jeff Evans, the top 10 here on the race start. But the iRacing Sedan Pace car is ready to pull off once more, hopefully for the final time tonight. I hope we do get a nice, decently long run to the end here. Richard Regan Jr. probably doesn't. He's probably happy with the lead here. He's got Sean Campbell, who is outside, though. The iRacing Sedan Pace car is down pit road officially. Barney the Flagman is the flag in hand. South Carolina, Darlington, green.
That was a really bad start from Sean Campbell. He's got White all over the side of the Nicolas Cage machine, but didn't allow White to get on the throttle there to get through the beginning of that corner and get through the center. He had to make the apex. And now it's a race. Can Nicolas Cage be gone in 60 seconds or not?
White's trying to recover here, trying to get the bearings under him after that early blast to the inside. When you go for that move, it doesn't work out. It's difficult to regroup. It's difficult to get back in line, get back in the rhythm, but he's got a very, very short amount of time to do that. James O'Brien is also trying to move his way forward. We know Abner Acosta ahead of him has damage. O'Brien off the corner trying to chase down his teammate, or his former teammate, I should say, his teammate in the Cup Series at the very least. He's got some work to do, though. Even if Abner does have damage, it's not heavy damage.
Yeah, Abner's still able to make pace here, but this is the battle that I think it's going to shape up here really quick. You know, Sean Campbell, Richard Regan Jr. Richard was fast on fresh tires. Sean was not. I mean, Sean was right there with them pace-wise, but he wasn't quicker. This time he's a little bit quicker. I mean, he's less than 100th of a second faster than him at the moment. So I think this is going to be the real key. Sean has to get up there and spook Richard. He has to do it quick. He can't wait 2 or 3 laps.
We've seen this gap before a little bit earlier. They were just separated by about 1.2 tenths, 1.5 tenths. And then once you get later on in the run, once you get past that about 15 lap mark, something just changed for Sean Campbell. Something lit up. For now, though, Richard Regan Jr. is in control. He's just got to avoid the mistakes for the moment and probably save a little bit more.
Saving here is kind of you can do it quite a bit, but at this point in the race, you have to go. I mean, you get 14 laps on these tires. If you hold anything back at this moment, you're hurting yourself more than you're helping. Because if you roll the throttle too much, you have to hit everything perfect. It's a timing track. If you roll for too long, you burn the right front. If you hit the gas too quick, you burn the right rear. Everything has to be done at a mark. When you get into the mark of the Coca-Cola sign, you start to lift. Oh, no, in the wall. And he holds it. But if you hit that mark, you have to turn it. Yeah, you have to turn it right. And unfortunately for Sean, is Richard's holding it right. He's doing what he has to do. He's holding it to 2 tenths here.
It was Nick Hunter's, I think, second bite into the wall so far tonight. He was able to recover. No caution, but those are the mistakes that happened late in the race at Darlington. The fatigue does start to set in, even in a 50-minute race. This is one of the most challenging racetracks on the oval side. Probably the most challenging racetrack on the oval side on iRacing, other than Rockingham. I'd say that much. Austin Hunter, the other Hunter, to the inside of Brandon Walter here. This has kind of been the eye of the storm here, or rather the arm of the storm. This is where all the incidents have been happening, but everybody's kind of been removed from the equation. Hunter and Walter just kind of circulating on their own now.
I'm still digging the Santa hat. That's,
of course.
It's a good look. He should do this more often. I think after the new year, he needs like a wreath Like instead of a necklace, just wear a wreath. I'd be down for that. Or maybe he can wear one, with me tomorrow. I guess I'll join the Zoom and do something wacky and crazy for the holiday season.
Two drivers on recovery here. Two Whataback drivers, Mark Kalin and Doug Evans. Both of them, Mark Kalin didn't bring out a caution. He did just get that phantom front end damage, though we never actually saw how it happened, but he is on recovery. Doug Evans, after getting turned and bringing out the last caution, is also trying to move his way forward. And both of them have who else but Charles Sumner in the background, just riding in that ever-familiar Tropicana orange entry, probably just hoping for Mark Kalin to make a mistake. And with that heavy front end damage, Kalin's not going to be very quick in a straight line.
He's holding strong, though. I mean, his lap times at the moment, 31.3. I mean, yeah, Charles Sumner's a little bit quicker, but nothing too crazy as he gets loose there. And now you see a big difference.
Is that going to be a caution? Sumner got hit there. I didn't see who that was who went around. Now I do. It's Austin Hunter who's around at the back of the track, and the caution is out. Now it's a question. Do we have time to go back green? I'm not sure we do.
Yeah, he's mad. He looks mad. All right, say something so we can lip read.
I think the caution laps are over a minute long, so that's going to be checkers on this race. Richard Regan Jr. in 3 minutes' time is going to be your victor, unless for some reason there's some glitch in the system that does get us a one-lap restart. For now, let's see what happened to Austin Hunter. That's Jeremy Gonsalves to his inside, and yeah, that was Jeremy Gonsalves to his inside.
I've got nothing. My throat hurts.
So Richard Regan Jr. just gets to ride around now for 2.5 minutes, because I don't think we will be going green again. I think that will be the end of the day here. It's a 50-minute timed race, so there's no green-white checkers. There's no extra laps that can be added. The race ends at the 50-minute clock, or the lap closest to the 50-minute clock, and Richard Regan Jr. basically gets 2 victory laps here.
Unless they hit the exclamation point, laps, and then subtract 1. You can always do that, shorten caution up. Cool little feature iRacing has.
If I was in race control, I would consider that, but I don't think we have the abilities to do that in race control this evening. But Richard Regan Jr., what a story for him. He's kicked off the season with the most difficult field to face in PRL history, with Sean Campbell, who was taking the fight to him, Bradley Holly, Abner Acosta, Trent Dinkle, Elliott White. Everybody was saying, we're going to take Richard Regan Jr. off the top here on Wednesday night, and they've been unable to, with the most difficult track on the calendar.
So if my math is correct, it's 56 seconds around here. So I guess it would determine here if this is the light still on the pace car? Well, now it's race over.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Lights still are on the pace car, so this will be the white flag, I believe.
Yeah.
And we'll take the white flag here for Richard Regan Jr.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
It's an unfortunate way to start the season, but it has been a phenomenal race here. A couple of cautions, but other than that, fantastic racing between some of the best drivers in the PRL, and this is just kind of a preview for the rest of the season. We get this race, we got the truck race in the last weeks of 2022, and then when we come back for real in 2023, I think we're going to see things hit a real high. We go to Michigan next week in this series. I don't even know what I can say about that, because you've got all the drivers who are fighting for the win at Darlington this week, where things get spread out. Things aren't getting spread out next week.
No, it's not. Next week's going to be next week's going to be pretty compact. Well, the next race, not next week, but this was a really good race. This is a good showing for the first Xfinity race since 2019 for the PRL. Everybody said Richard Regan, and I picked him to win it, and he wins it.
So we're gonna end this race under caution. You don't really get a full speed victory call. So I guess I'll slow it down a little bit. Richard Regan Jr. wins at Darlington. So just rewind and speed that up by about 1.25, and that should be a full speed victory call. But yes, indeed, Richard Regan Jr. is victorious at Darlington. What number win is this for him? This is number 53 in his PRL career. It might be under caution, but he's just slowly extending that number over Abner Acosta. He's on 53 now. Abner's only on 51.
Well, and it also makes it what? 2 for 2 for him and Reese? They did it,
yeah, I think
one night for the team.
Regan Motorsports in the Truck Series. It's Richard Regan Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, but yeah, I say we can officially say that's 2 for 2. Reese spotting for Richard, Richard spotting for Reese. Both combinations were victorious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also did just realize that I did that one lap too early. I'm on the weird iRacing time here, where there is actually one extra lap. They crossed the line at a weird little time where there is one more victory lap for Richard Regan Jr., but now he's going to round turn 4. The iRacing sedan pace car is going to pull off so he can at least cross the line at full speed here. No 1.25x YouTube speed here. Richard Regan Jr. is going to take the restart here. He's going to take the checkered flag, and he's going to be victorious in the first race of the season for the 53rd time in his PRL career. Richard Regan Jr. wins at Darlington.
He doesn't seem too excited. How do we get him pumped? He just looks mad. It's like he expected to win.
I mean, of course. You gotta expect to win, I think.
This was a good race, though. I look forward to the rest of the season here. I especially look forward to Spa. I think Spa is going to be very entertaining.
There's been some slight technical difficulties, but I'm on backup microphone. There might be some very big echo here, Terry, but we are here for the post-race show. And again, Richard Regan Jr. may be slightly unhappy with ending his first race under caution, but somehow I think a win's still a win for him.
Tevin.
Oh, dear.
Backup. Yeah, you little backup microphone guy.
How bad is it?
You sound great. You sound as great as ever.
Oh, good.
You were just. I'll read the results for you.
Yeah, please revive me or relieve me, please.
So Richard Regan Jr. wins this darn thing here with Sean Campbell, Elliott White, Bradley Holloway, Joshua Daniels rounds out your top 5, Abner Acosta, James O'Brien, Danny Cervantes with a great run up there in 8th, Jeff Evans back there in 9th, and Thomas Sink rounds out your top 10. You got Adam Zimke back there in 11th, Jim Westerfield, P12, looks good here, Jeff Hollingsworth, Brandon Walter, Jeremy Gonzalez in 15th, Doug Evans, Charles Sumner, Mark Kalin with early issues there, Nicholas Hunter, and Ryan Traver, your top 20. Austin Hunter, Jose the Funky Cole Medina, Daniel Knight, Michael Diaz, Trent Dinkle got wrecked early in the used car lot, Dominic Olivier back there in 26th, and Doyle Lawrence with riding Shotgun Motorsports is Shotgun. That's 27 field top to bottom of the results, and I think we're still waiting on our race winner.
He'll be here eventually. Maybe he's also loading up his backup.
Allegedly.
So we'll give it a few more seconds here, but while we do wait, Terry, there are 9 more weeks left to go in the season. I mentioned, Darlington, it's a difficult place to start the season. It's one of the most difficult places to drive these race cars, but we've gotten the jitters out, both here and in the Truck Series, and I think the next 9 weeks, once we do get started again in 2023 for real, they're going to be absolutely incredible racing. It was incredible racing tonight, but there were a few breaks. Richard Regan Jr. is here now. He is ready for the interview. Terry, I'm going to need you to do some work here for me to get to talk to Richard Regan Jr., but he is here. Our race winner is here. Richard Regan Jr., I'm talking to you on the phone because of, for whatever reason, it was a weird win for you. It ended under caution, but a win's the same either way.
Yeah, for sure. Don't like the caution wins. I would have liked to see that go green to the end, but it is what it is, and we still came home with the win.
So I do need to talk to you about that battle with Sean Campbell. It seemed like every time you guys found each other, you were just getting closer and closer and closer. There was a little bit of contact. What was it like racing with Sean for the win?
I mean, I don't know. I knew he was going to be aggressive going into this race. I know he does some of the college series things, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, early on I made the move on him, and he wanted to start pinching me, and which I think is a little ridiculous considering we had 38 minutes left in the race at that point. And he started pinching me hard, and I was on the apron, and he wants to door me and stuff. So I'm gonna give something back to him. So I mean, if anyone wants to play that game with me, I got no problem with that at all.
So for tonight, you guys went 2 for 2 because you spotted for Reese. Reese won in the trucks. Reese spotted for you. You won in Xfinity. That's literally the best possible way to start the season. How's anybody going to be able to take the fight to you this season?
I'm hoping Reese has a really good season in trucks. We got a lot of competitive people here over in the B side. Abner and the 26 got involved in an incident, and they both got damaged. So Abner's always fast. Trent, he'll figure this car out. He hasn't ran this car a lot. He'll be fast towards the end of the season or mid part of the season. So we'll see what happens. I mean, everyone's going to start figuring out this car, and yeah, it's going to be a great season. So keep tuning in.
Good company, man. Tune in indeed. But congrats on the win tonight, and you know what you got to do before we kick you out.
Yeah, I got to thank my sponsors, Neonism. If you need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism. Multiple Sclerosis Society, Jay-Z Photography, VR Cover, everyone at RBM, RaceSpot, awesome job on the trucks, awesome job spotting for me tonight. Everyone at the PRL and you guys at RaceSpot.
Always a pleasure. Richard Regan Jr., your victor tonight, but Terry, we got second place waiting for us. Sean Campbell's here, and for once, he doesn't talk to me, he talks to you.
What's up, Nicholas Cage?
What's going on?
P2, not too bad. So I don't know if you heard what Richard Regan Jr. said, but we're going to spice up some drama here for our Wednesday nights. He said, you roughed him up, he's going to rough you up. You're going to race him like that the rest of the season?
Absolutely. Listen, I have, honestly, no hard feelings, right? I love some of the fake drama, but in stark contrast, just to spice it up, I'll say that I gave him all the room into turn one when we made contact, and he just missed the corner. No, I'm joking with you. It was good racing, honestly. That's what I wanted to do the Xfinity Series for. Like, you go to NASCAR so you can kind of get away with a little bit of contact and be a little bit more lax about it, You
could have left the just joking out. We would have ran with that up here. Trust me, you give us more ammunition on a Wednesday night, Hugo might kick one of us out. I don't know, but all in all, a good start to your campaign here in this season. You come out here with a second. We kind of pinned you as one of those drivers that had an opportunity to come up here and race for this championship. How do you gauge it right here? This is the hardest place to race that you're going to see other than Spa. It's real life NASCAR track you're going to see.
Are we doing Spa?
You are. No, that is a real thing.
Oh, wow.
Into Spa.
Yeah, no, I saw that on the. I saw that. It was a little bit strange. Well, surely we're not. Surely that's like one of the drop weeks. No, that'll be fun. I've never raced these things on road course ever.
Oh, so how much practice is it going to take to go into win to be competitive at least? I'm
going to do at least 5 minutes. I hope.
That's like
it'll be fun. That's I know. No, it's 1.5. Let's say.
That's an out. That's an out lap into a quick lap.
All you need to know: if the tires are cold and it's sliding, then it's going to be like when it's going to be like that when the tires are worn. So if you can keep it from sliding on the out lap, you're good to go. Now I'll do practice, obviously, but I don't know. Spa is going to be weird. I have a feeling
that Eau and Radillon is going to be very strange.
Well, I'm here for it. I'm here for all the drama. Congrats on the P2, Sean. I guess you might have people to thank.
Nicolas Cage. I don't know. I'll thank Richard for giving a good race. It was, it was less dirty than I wanted it to be. A little bit more bump and run action next time, considering, oh shoot, what track is it next time? I need to go look real quick. It's some 1.5, I think. Generic 1.5 mile.
Michigan.
Oh, is it Michigan? Never mind. I love Michigan.
Oh, well, congratulations on P2. We're going to go talk to Elliott White.
All right.
Sean Campbell, your P2 finisher this evening, but indeed, Terry is right. We do have Elliott White here. Another driver coming to Wednesday nights for the first time. It was a pretty good showing for you. A pretty clean showing as well.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I was just trying to, I guess, get to the end of the race. I mean, I hadn't done much oval racing for a while, so I just kind of wanted to make sure I got to the end.
So what's the story behind the pastel pink livery? Is that going to be the full-time paint scheme, or are there going to be some sponsors put on that thing, or are you going to stay pastel pink so we can easily pick you out?
I think I'm going to stick with the pink. I really like pink and purple, but Dom chose purple, so probably just going to stay with the pink.
Good. Always easy to pick that car out. It's easy to pick you and Jeff and Doug out. They're all easy to determine, but you said it's your first time really driving this car in this series. There's 9 more weeks coming up, a lot of weird and funky tracks, but what are you most looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the schedule when I looked at it before the league started, which was part of the reason I decided to do it in the first place. I really like mile and a halves, and but I'm probably most excited for Daytona, actually. I might not be as excited when it starts, but right now I'm excited.
We all love the idea of Daytona, of course, but we wish you good luck in the coming weeks, and we'll see you once 2023 starts.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for broadcasting.
Always a pleasure indeed. Elliott White, your P3 finisher, and of course, it's Wednesday night. Terry, one question with Austin.
Why'd you wreck?
I had some help. I'll stick with that.
We noticed. I guess quick question. What's with the Santa hat?
It's Christmas. I've been a real Grinch this year, so I'm trying to put some Christmas spirit out here, but it didn't help, so I'm back to being the Grinch.
Thank the people
Santa
on the car
Claus.
and the banner.
I want to thank Waterback Racing, Established Traffic Control, Houston Curling Club, Miracle Flow, and my mom for watching, and my stepdad for watching tonight as well. And you guys always for having such a great broadcast.
Hopefully they enjoyed it as much as we enjoy you. Austin, my special little guy, I got to kick you out.
Bye, Terry.
Bye, sir. That's Austin Hunter.
Where did old Santa even finish tonight? I didn't even... He's P21 at the end of it all. So he'll have... Yeah, he's got some work to do to live up to his Xfinity win from the past, but what a night of racing we had here. A little bit weird. A couple of opening race jitters we had to get rid of, but at the end of it all, Reese Bogue, a driver who we expected to win in the Truck Series, wins. Richard Regan Jr., our defending champion on Wednesday nights, wins. So even amidst all the weirdness, the top drivers still rise to the top. But if this has been an excellent preview for the rest of the season, we're going to see so much great racing for the next couple of months. And we will once again get running here on January the 3rd, I believe, is the next Wednesday where we will be racing in 2023. January 4th will be the next Wednesday. So we hope you'll join us then. But we hope you'll also join us tomorrow night, because there are 5 nights of PRL racing action here on RaceSpot. There's the Sunday Night Cup Series. There's GR86s and GT4s on Mondays. There's a GT3 doubleheader on Tuesdays. There's now Trucks and Xfinity on Wednesdays. And on Thursday nights, there's the IRO4 Series and the F3 Series. We'll be back with IRO4 and F3 action tomorrow night from Long Beach and wherever the F3 cars are at. I believe Suzuka. Terry will be with you in the race. Me and Justin Prince will be with you in the booth. But from me, from Terry Radford, from Hugo Luis for now, we thank you for watching. Until we see you next time. So long.